Time to play some football.
That's a championship team right there.
It's a hot time tonight.
You are looking live at Cantrell Stadium here in Powder Springs, where playoff football has arrived. The second season has begun in earnest, and we have playoff football here tonight between two outstanding football teams, the Packers of Colquitt County and the host Indians of McEachern. Gil Tyree, we welcome you to GPB's live and exclusive coverage of Football Fridays here in Georgia, playoff edition, and Trey McDaniel, my partner in crime. Two great football teams. Let's start with the men from Moultrie.
Yeah, Colquitt County's MO has become coming up to Atlanta to play in the postseason. They've made 3 appearances in the semifinals, so they're doing something right. But tonight it all starts with their senior quarterback, Cole Seagraves. Lost his starting job earlier in the season to the sophomore Daniel Mobley, but he's really coming on strong now. He probably played his best game of the season last week when they defeated number 1 ranked in region foe Camden County. He's got a tough task tonight because he's going against a very fast, athletic McEachern defense. If you flip over to the defensive side for Colquitt, they're going to turn to their senior middle linebacker, John Gray. He was out at the beginning of the season with a broken hand, but he's back now, leads the team in tackles. Coach Probst says he is a throwback kind of guy. He's got the toughest job on the field tonight because he's got to get that defense lined up against one of the most complex offenses in the state of Georgia in the McEachern Indians.
And speaking of the aforementioned McEachern Indians, 2 losses to start the season to Grayson and Walton, both here on GPB, but after that, Trey McDaniel, they have been red hot and reeled off 8 straight.
They have, and it's due in large part to their two-headed monster, the dynamic duo at quarterback, Ty Griffin, the senior, and Ty Clemens, the junior. Remember, Griffin went down against Grayson injured in the first game of the season. Clemens stepped in and did a great job. These 2 men together have accounted for over 1,000 yards on the ground, 1,700 yards in the air, and get this, Gil, 35 combined touchdowns. It's a two-headed monster. As those 2 guys go, so goes the McEachern offense. On the defensive side, it's a free safety, a guy we saw play and we're very impressed with, senior Kel Parham. This young man is a returning starter, the only returning starter for the McEachern defense. Very talented. Coach Hockman says he is explosive. He's going to play center field tonight. His main job is to make sure all those weapons on the Colquitt offense don't get behind him. Coach Hockman said, we have a chance tonight if we do not give up the big play. That's going to fall squarely on the shoulders of junior Kel Parham.
Outstanding job by you to break this football game down here tonight. Now let's join the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, John Nelson. Nelly, it's all yours.
Thank you, Gil. Good evening to you and to Trey, to everyone watching. This is the time of year that Rush Probst calls double time. If you're 10 seconds late to a meeting, then you're going to hear it. It's preparation, starts on Sunday, and they were even getting all of their defensive stuff squared away for today. And here's how the region looks out, or the bracket looks out, as things continue to move forward. The winner of this one gets Alcovy and Noonan. And the common thought is, guys, that the winner of this game tonight could have a pretty good run to the semifinals when it comes to life in 6A. We'll have a bunch of scoring updates. We'll let you take a look at the brackets in 5A and 6A, upset alerts, all that kind of stuff down here on the field. Let's send it back up to you guys. So, Gil and Trey, take it away.
All right, John Nelson, thank you. You're going to be one busy man. You got to look at Rush Probst, the head coach at Colquitt County. Great years in the great state of Alabama, doing great things with the Colquitt program. And I'll tell you something, he brought a whole lot of people up from the Packer Nation. They arrived here yesterday, and on the other side, Kyle Hockman, who's done an outstanding job here. And McEachern came over from Campbell High School in Smyrna. And look at the numbers and what he's accomplished here, and he's done an outstanding job, Trey McDaniel.
Yeah, 2 of the best coaches in the state of Georgia. Both of them get their teams geared up for the playoffs. Colquitt has had more recent success in the playoffs. Hockman very hungry to make a deep run in the playoffs, and I think he's got the team to do it, and I believe he believes that as well. But he's got a very tough first-round matchup. Don't let the number 4 seed fool you. Colquitt is one of the best teams in the state of Georgia.
All right, we're underway, and Roberto Vega will pooch it out of bounds, and McEachern will take over 1st and 10. We have a flag on the play to start things off. And how many times, Trey, have we done a football game we started out with yellow?
Well, I think what Colquitt was doing there was making a concerted effort not to put the ball into one of the hands of those deep weapons that they have for McEachern. They've got some guys back there that can take it to the house. Unfortunately, they kicked it out of bounds.
Illegal procedure. On the kicking team, ball will be placed on the 35-yard line. 1st down and 10.
Michael Morrow, the head referee tonight. Our outstanding crew from the Georgia High School Association to say up top that Colquitt had won the toss and elected to defer. So McEachern will take over 1st and 10 at their own 35. And the give and turning the corner and going around the left side with the football as for the McEachern Indians is Sherman, Mike Sherman, on the handoff. And take a look at the McEachern Indians, and you see that offensive line. You like Garner and Pittman and Fair, and brought to you by our good friends by Regions Bank, our starting lineups. It's time to expect more. And you look at the wideouts, and of course Taj Griffin, the outstanding talent. Okay, and T.J. Rahman, who is an outstanding talent as well. And rolling out and finding a receiver at the 45-yard line and gets into the 35 and down to the 30-yard line. The pass was complete from quarterback Ty Clemens off of nice play action and rolls right and has a receiver out in the right flat, and that is Trey Scott, and it is complete. It's a first down for the Indians at the Colquitt County 34-yard line.
Coach Hockman told us when we spoke to him this week that he was going to be a little unpredictable on offense and throw on unpredictable downs. He just did it with his prototypical rushing quarterback, tried to throw a little wrinkle in and just got rocked right there by number 21, the senior free safety, Garrett Pierce.
Let's take a look at the defensive line for the Colquitt County Packers. The defense, again, brought to you by our good friends of Region Bank. It's time to expect more. They'll play a whole lot of people. In fact, they have a rotation of 10. I love Wright. And you look at John Gray, who is the middle of that great linebacker crew, the leader of that defense. And then the secondary, Johnny Ward and the aforementioned Garrett Pierce that Trey just talked about on the tackle, O'Shea Williams and Michael Sutton on the outside. 2nd and 7. Griffin at quarterback, Ty Griffin. And again, that tandem, Trey, that they pursue in terms of what they try to do offensively for Kyle Hockman and the McEachern Indians.
Yeah, they're already making a lot of personnel changes right now. You've seen them already in this first possession throw with Clemens and run with Griffin, which is kind of against the MO of this team, and now you see him go empty backfield on 3rd down.
3rd and 4. Griffin, the quarterback, and like Trey said, an empty set 2 wide to the near side. Scoreless here at Powder Springs. Griffin looking for a receiver, has Malik Williams, and is brought down. Pierce is over there as well. We take a look at the keys of the game here tonight. The keys of the game. Trey McDaniel, first up, Colquitt County.
For Colquitt, they got to find open grass. No matter who's playing quarterback for the Packers, Probst wants them to go through their progressions and what he calls find the open grass and make the right read. Also, they got to shift gears on defense. They went through perhaps the toughest schedule in 6A this season, but they've played a lot of wing T teams. Now they got to go up against a spread attack.
1st and 10 at the 22. Griffin over the middle, had a receiver, and that was Chris Okay, and it falls incomplete in the end zone. Now the Indians' keys to success here tonight.
We're seeing it in action right now, Gil. Tempo, tempo, tempo. McEachern runs a very complex spread attack. They want to make Colquitt play their game and not the other way around. They want to dictate their own pace. They've also got to prevent the home run. We talked about that a little bit at the top with Kel Parham. The buck stops with him. If they don't give up the big play tonight, they will have a chance to win this football game.
Clemens, your quarterback, and Taj Griffin, the lone back behind him. The give is to Griffin. Over the 20, down to about the 18-yard line. Garrett Pierce among those on the stop. And they, like I said, they have a rotation of a lot of guys on that Packer defense.
And this guy might be the best of the bunch as far as the rotation on the McEachern offense. We saw him in the Walton game. This kid's only a sophomore, Taj Griffin, the brother of quarterback Ty Griffin. And Coach Hockman told us before the season started that he's just now learning how to play the game of football as a sophomore, Gil. The sky is the limit for this young man. He's going to be rotating in and out of the game. Very special player.
3rd and 6 at the 19, an empty set. That is Griffin. He'll keep it. Still on his feet. and gets down close to the 15-yard line. Among those on the stop, the outstanding 4-year veteran John Gray, the 6'1", 238-pound senior. This is what we saw from the living room in the end zone, Trey.
Yeah, nothing open. He decides to keep it himself. It's going to be really tough sledding up inside. And they come out heavy package in 4th down and less than 5. They might be trying to draw him offside. And instead, they jump offside themselves, kind of shoot themselves in the foot. So it looks like, in my opinion, Gil, they'll probably go for the field goal here because it was 4th down and a long 4. So might as well take a shot with the no play and try to catch him off guard. Instead, their right tackle jumped.
Listen in on the call.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense. 5 yards. Still 4th down.
You see him mark it off, Trey. And, of course, 8-10 here in the opening period. You're absolutely right. It's going to be a 37-yard field goal attempt by Dennis Dominguez, a 5'10", 170-pound junior, 38-yarder. Out of the hold of Ty Clemens. The kick is up. It looks good, and it is good. So a 38-yarder by Dominguez to get McEachern on the board here early on. 8:04 here in the opening period. With the score, McEachern 3, Colquitt nothing. You're watching Georgia High School Association playoff football here on GPB. You get a shot of the Big Chief here in Powder Springs. 3-0. McEachern over Colquitt early on here in the first period. Downstairs to John Nelson. Nelly.
GT, we talked early on about what happened in this particular mini bracket down lower right. So let's take a look at upper right and see what could be happening when it comes to the semifinals. And sure enough, it could end up being either Camden County or Norcross meeting up in round 3 to figure out who would win and be the survivor out of this particular bracket. So this is Murderer's Row on this right-hand side of the particular 6A bracket, guys.
Do you agree?
I do, but just wait till he spotlights the upper left of the 6A bracket. That's Murderer's Row. There are 4 teams in that quadrant that could come out, and I agree with John. It looks like Camden and Norcross. Of course, it's playoff skill, second season, do or die. Anything could happen. We're just speculating what could happen from here on out, but of course, we've seen both Norcross and Camden play this season, and I think that those two are the cream of the crop in that quadrant. One of those, I think, will represent that quadrant in the semifinals. All
right, Trey, our scoring drive brought to you by TCSG. Learn more, earn more. Exactly 9 plays, 53 yards, and the elapsed time, 3:56. So the opening drive by McEachern leads to a score, and this will be Colquitt's first opportunity with the football. 8:04 here in the opening period, and let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, and there you see their talented senior quarterback, Cole Seagraves. We mentioned before he lost his starting job middle of the season to sophomore Daniel Mobley. Mobley then went out with a sore shoulder. Seagraves got a second chance, and he's really made the most of it, Gil. He's really leading the team now, as Coach Probst thought he was capable of all along. Very talented guy, looking to really earn some big-time scholarships with some good play here tonight, and we'll see him run here for the first time. Very dangerous as a runner.
He gets around the perimeter, gets over the 25-yard line, close to the 30. Our starting lineups brought to you by Regions Bank. It's time to expect more. And you see Travis Register, Dalton Dillon, Jeffrey Davis, and Mobley, a nice offensive line. And then Boatwright, Love, Bobby Hill, and Boyd, and just a great group working with quarterback Seagraves here tonight. 2nd and 5. Empty backfield. Seagraves pumps it and goes to Hill. Hill still on his feet, turns the corner, close to the 40, a pirouette move, and he gets about to the 41-yard line, a gain of 11 and a first down pack.
Gil, this is what Colquitt does best. They get the ball to their weapons underneath in high percentage passes and then let them go to work. He told us that although number 15, Bobby Hill, the Ole Miss commit, has good hands, he said he's most dangerous running the football after he catches it. The senior middle linebacker Sherman saved a touchdown right there.
Barham also on the stop again. Seagraves goes to Hill over the 45 up to about the 46. He's take a look at the McEachern defense. They run out of that 3-5. You see Lucky Daniels, Love Billingsley, and also the great linebacker crew with Sherman, Frazier, and Wade, the strength of the defensive unit. And then you look at Parsons and Parham headlining that secondary. Complete to Boatwright in the open field. He gets into McEachern territory over the 30 down to about the 26-yard line. A gain of 27. Jalen White on the stop for the Indians.
Another great example, Gil, of getting your football to your weapons on the outside. That's junior John Boatwright. He's their feature back in the backfield, and they ran that play out of the pistol. They went empty formation 5 wide in the play before that, and here you see shotgun formation with a halfback and a tailback. So multiple formations here on the first possession of the game for the Packers.
First and 10 at the 29. And the give going straight ahead with the football and getting it down over the 25, down to about the 24. Coming up off of that pile was number 25, John Boatwright. See his numbers, 93 carries, 425 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Hurry up offense, 2nd and 6 at the 24. 3-0 McEachern here early on. Seagraves, the empty backfield, and of course, the spread look. Plenty of time, he's going to keep it. 25-20. Stumbling and gets close to the 10-yard line. That's close to a first down, Trey.
Yeah, Justin Pendleton came up from outside linebacker, number 30, the junior, and got a piece of Seagraves. Otherwise, Seagraves might have gotten some more yardage here. One thing that Colquitt's great at, Gil, is softening up the defense with those underneath passes, and it really opens up the quarterback run. And although I don't know if that was a designed run or not, they're softening up that underbelly of the McEachern offense, and it's working right now to perfection.
A gain of 12. That's the give to Saheem King. 5'8", 165-pound sophomore takes it close inside the 10, down to about the 7.
Saheem King is a nice change of pace from John Boatwright. Diminutive 5'8", 160-pounder. He's also their third-string quarterback, Gil. We might see him in a couple of weird formations before the night's over with.
2nd and goal at the 5. That's King again, straight ahead, inside the 5, down to about the 3.
Now
McEachern on the stop.
Now McEachern subbing out a lot of defensive linemen coming in with their more heavy package. They're normally, Gil, in more of a 3-5-3 kind of look, but here you're going to see them more in a conventional 4-3, I believe, once it gets down inside the 10-yard line. 3rd down and 1, Colquitt can pick up a 1st and goal without scoring. They've got to get it about 1 more yard to do so.
Seagraves will keep it, and he's in for a touchdown. Touchdown, Colquitt County. Just followed the right guard in the end zone. He scores from 4. And the Pack on the board.
Gil, look at this replay. This is just a designed off-guard quarterback sneak, but then when everybody gets sucked inside, Mackenzie Billingsley gets sucked inside, might have been a little bit of a hold there. You see the offensive line pull up like they always do and put his hands up in the air like, I didn't hold him. And as soon as Seagraves saw daylight, it was an easy touchdown.
Will Bannister on for the extra point, and it's good. And just like that, the Pack get on the board and take over. The lead 7-3, 4:57 in the opening period here at Cantrell Stadium. 9 plays, 76 yards. The elapsed time, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. The scoring drive brought to you by TCSG. Learn more, earn more in our touchdown replay tray.
Great block on the inside there on Mackenzie Billingsley by number 54 for Colquitt, the junior. Gabe Mobley, he's the one that made that touchdown possible. And now we've seen exactly what makes these two teams tick on the first possession of the game. McEachern comes out of the block, Colquitt answers. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we think this is the best number 4, number 1 matchup in the state.
John Nelson, hello.
Good evening, GT. We've talked about the right-hand side of the bracket. Let's go to the left-hand side, upper left, with scores right now. Lovejoy leading 21-0 over Tri-Cities in the second. Lowndes and Marietta still waiting for a report on that one. Grayson rolling right now, 21-0 over Wheeler. North Gwinnett and Johns Creek waiting for a score on that one. Some other scoring updates as we go. North Cobb and Valdosta tied at 7, and a surprise so far out of Kingsland. It is Camden and Hillgrove tied at 7 early on down there in the upper right-hand part of the bracket. Hillgrove causing problems for Camden again, guys.
And Hillgrove not too far from where we're at right now. You see our scoring drive, we gave it earlier, 9 plays, 76 yards. The elapsed time, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. And brought to you by our good friends of TCSG, Learn More, Earn More. Seagraves right now, 3 carries, 21 yards on the ground, 3 for 3 in the air, 53 yards the pass, and of course, he scores a touchdown to put the Pack up 7-3. And we know we got a whole lot of people down in Moultrie watching our broadcast here tonight, and we wish them well. One of the up men taking it for the McEachern Indians, so they will take over 1st and 10. Trey, you know something? I love Georgia Traveler, don't you? And Sunday at 7 o'clock, another new episode of Georgia Traveler. David Zelsky and the crew set out on the Athens Food Tour. They stop at Jittery Joe's, explore the iconic folk, art, and wonderland at Somerville, and then travel to Lookout Mountain to climb aboard the Incline Railway. All that and more. Catch the new edition this Sunday, 7 o'clock. The Traveler team is looking for you.
You're scared of heights, Gil. Stay away from that incline railway. I've been on there. It's fun.
1st and 10. And just barely, almost breaking one for a touchdown was Ty Griffin. And Garrett Pierce saved a touchdown. Look at it.
He sure did, and this is a designed quarterback run. One thing that Rush Probst told us when we talked to him on our conference call this week is he said, it's okay if the quarterback runs because he doesn't have any other options, but we cannot, under any circumstance, let the designed quarterback runs beat us. Right there, Garrett Pierce, the guy that he said has stepped up and been maybe their most improved defensive player of the year, just saved a touchdown.
A gain of 26, 1st and 10. 1st and 10 at the 45. The fake give, and that'll be Griffin keeping it himself, and he is pushed back. And among those over there meeting him at the summit was Akeem Blakely on the stop. Second and 10 at the 43.
And although McEachern's running the no-huddle, Gil, they're taking an awful lot of time getting the call from the sideline. Because of all the formations they run, both teams are going to do a lot of personnel change pre-snap.
Empty set. And turning the corner and getting around the edge and close to the 35-yard line.
Taj Griffin, the ball carrier.
Was Taj Griffin, that speedster.
You said it, Gil. I mean, you can just see that he has otherworldly speed. He has a gear that maybe no one on this football field tonight has. He's kind of a feast-or-famine type of guy. He'll take the big loss at times, but he'll also break the big play. Coach Hockman says, we got to know the difference. We got to still be explosive without making big mistakes. Another formation change, Gil.
On the direct snap taken by Griffin, he gets close to the 1st down, stumbles his way. They needed 3. It looked like they got that. It depends on the spot, Trey.
They're going to mark him about a half a yard short. They tried to run up there before Colquitt's defense got set, and it looks like they're going to run the exact same thing here. Remember, they were going to try to draw him offside in the last possession, but they jumped off sides.
Let's see what they do again. The direct snap to Griffin, and he gets the 1st down, and then some. Off the quick snap, and you know, it's like a chess game here tonight.
And that was the right call. If I'm Coach Hockman, I'd do the same thing right there. Your offensive line is getting good push on a humongous defensive line for Colquitt, and you're having success with the quarterback run. He feels confident that on any given play, he can pick up a half yard, and he did right there, and a whole lot more. Griffin has already carried the ball 4 times for 32 yards. His brother, Taj, who we just saw, the speedster, number 7, 4 carries, 13 yards.
1st and 10 at the 33. The empty set, Ty Griffin, your quarterback. And in the flat, they go to Griffin. with great speed, gets over the 30, close to the 25-yard line.
Pass is complete to Taj
And
Griffin.
Quentin Hampton among those on the stop. And also over there as well was Johnny Ward. He was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, this is a page right out of the Colquitt playbook. You take your fastest guy, you put the ball in his hands in a high percentage pass, just like Colquitt did as they went down the field and scored their touchdown on their last possession, and just let him improvise and do what he needs to do. It was a nice play, picked up 7 yards.
2nd and 4 at the 27. The man in motion right there was Griffin. And we have a flag on the play, and we have movement, Trey.
This will be interesting whether it's against, I didn't see an offensive lineman flinch. This may be defensive encroachment. Wait and see.
It looks like it's going to go against McEachern.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
It was on the offensive left side. It was Juwan Delaney, number 76, the senior, who jumped offside on the previous possession. It may have been him or Travis Fair right there. Either way, they've set themselves up in 2nd down and long.
Griffin, the empty set, will take the snap, go around left tackle, get over the 30-yard line, down to about the 27 of the Packers. Among them on the stop, love this kid, Jameis Pittman, 6'2" and 295-pound junior, had 63 tackles.
Yeah, and he's
among that rotation of guys.
Yeah, Coach Probst said he is probably the best junior defensive tackle in the state, suffering from turf toe and a knee injury right now and still playing.
That's Griffin off the empty set. And that'll be close to another 1st down. And Pyle continues to drive close to the 15-yard line with that big, humongous offensive line. Pittman among those on the stop. Johnny Ward there too, but it'll be a 1st down for the Indians of McEachern, a game of 13.
Gil, that entire run was made possible by number 77, the sophomore Chuma Idoga, and the right guard, number 72, Travis Fair. They both pulled from the offensive right side and led Ty Griffin right up in the hole. The offensive line having their way on this drive.
The empty set again, and Griffin just barreling his way. Getting down close to the 10-yard line. Blakely among those on the stop for the Packers.
Getting chippy down there. Taj Griffin mixing it up with one of the linebackers for Colquitt.
Taj Griffin, the ball carrier.
A minute 2, getting close to the minute mark. Under a minute right now. 58 seconds to go.
Gil, that was
7-3, Colquitt.
Excuse me, that was the exact same play they ran the play before, but they ran it to the offensive right side and let number 76, Juwan Delaney, lead through the hole this time, and now they pass.
The fake to Sherman, back of the end zone for the touchdown, and it is a touchdown. McEachern, that is Trey Scott. 12 yards. Back and forth. Back and forth, to and fro. Our touchdown replay brought to you by our friends at TCSG. Learn more, earn more. The play fake, and then the touchdown to Trey Scott. The kick is up, and it is good. Let's take another look, Trey, and tell us what we see.
Well, they really softened up the defense by running, doing quarterback runs, one right after the other, and then they bring in the change of pace, Ty Clemens, and he airs it out. So far tonight, Clemens, not Griffin, has been the quarterback that they've put the ball in the air with. When Griffin's in the game, he is in large part the offense skill. They're allowing him to just pick up those hard, tough yards. And so far, their best 2 plays through the air tonight have come from the junior Ty Clemens on the play action, rolling out to his right side. He looks very sharp in the passing game. That 2-headed monster is going to be very, very tough to defend all night long. Colquitt's defensive coordinator is going to have to make, that's Travis Pearson, he's going to have to make some adjustments.
10 plays, 81 yards. The elapsed time, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. The scoring drive brought to you by TCSG. Learn more, earn more. And it's 10-7 now, 41 seconds to go here in the opening quarter.
you surprised by what we're seeing early on, Trey? Back and forth?
Not at all. I think both coaches at this point are pleased with the way their offenses are performing. This is exactly how both coaches have designed their offenses. Very balanced run-pass mix. But right now, the defense for Colquitt's going to have to make some adjustments.
Chris O'Kay will boot it off at his own 40-yard line and booms it deep and in the end zone and will not come out. This Sunday night at 7:30, it's another brand new show from Georgia Outdoors. Sharon Collins takes us to Little St. Simons Island to show you what the Georgia coast has to offer. Stunning beauty and scenery. And you might even learn a thing or two about the great state of Georgia. Tune in for the premiere of Little St. Simons on Georgia Outdoors this Sunday, November 18th at 7:30 p.m. right before Nature only on GPB. You ever been down to St. Simons?
I haven't. I'd love to get down there.
1st and 10 at the 20. Seagraves in the flat as his receiver, and it is complete where he gets leveled. And that was Malik Lewis, and our good friend Parham leveled him right there. Let's take a look at the last time Colquitt had the football, Trey, and kind of take our audience through.
Well, they did a great job early getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers, specifically Bobby Hill, and they went down the field on a lot of underneath stuff. That one right there was John Boatwright, and then they just let the big 6'4" senior quarterback skate into the end zone on the quarterback sneak. You're going to see a lot of everything you just saw in that package as the game wears on. They're the same spot on the field that they started their previous drive, and they're starting that drive in the same way, getting the ball underneath to Bobby Hill. We mentioned before, he's an Old Miss commit. He's projected, Gil, to be a defensive back at the next level. He's a heck of a wide receiver right now for the Packers.
They got him in space. A gain of 4, make it 2nd and 6 at Seagraves, straight ahead, calling his own number. And he gets close to the 45-yard line, and that's going to mark the end of the first quarter. It's been an outstanding opening quarter with the score. New 10 and Colquitt 7. You're watching Football Fridays, playoff style in Georgia here on GPB. Start of the second year, McEachern out in front of Colquitt County 10-7. And Trey, just some observations of what's going on right now. Seagraves, quick count. That's Boatwright.
Well, after that play, Gil, that was a crucial 3rd down play, and they're going to come up short. And the fact that they're on the minus side of the field and haven't crossed midfield yet, the conservative approach would be to punt the ball right here after Boatwright was unable to pick up the 1st down. But Coach Rush Probst is kind of the Les Miles of high school football here in the state of Georgia, kind of the Mad Hatter. So I'm not sure what he'll do. He'll line up here to go for it. We'll see if he actually runs a play.
4th and 2. They are going to go for it, and we have a stoppage of play.
Oh, dear.
And we have yellow. And we have some chippiness, too.
Yeah, Henry from Murrah came in after the play was over, and I believe he was pushed down into the legs of Seagraves. Inadvertently, both got up jawing at one another, but the actual flag on the field was pre-snap. And it might be fortunate for Colquitt that they had that flag. It did not look. They were about to run the same play that they were just stopped
dead
on.
Ball, encroachment on the defense.
Oh, dear.
5-yard penalty, yardage results in a 1st down.
Take a look at the end of the play, Trey. Kind of take us through.
Well, you see for Murrah right there going after the play and then runs right into the the right shin. And he's asking for a flag because he was pushed into him. And then luckily, number 31, Ramoy Parsons, comes up to try to calm his player down. They don't want any 15-yarders.
Seagraves steps back and he finds Hill with open space. He's over the 45-30. Spins and is pushed out of bounds at about the 20-yard line of the McEachern Indians, and making the stop down there was Parham. And he saved a touchdown.
He sure did, Gil. We talked about him playing center field and it was his job squarely to not give up the big play on the underneath stuff. He does his job perfectly, but it's a very well executed tunnel screen, and that's all set up by all these quarterback sneaks that Seagraves has up the middle, up the middle, up the middle. Right. You see him take the snap on this when he fakes the quarterback sneak, and when he drops back, perfectly executed. That's a timing play, Gil. And right in the tunnel there, in that lane, is their best player, Bobby Hill, and they break him out loose into open space. We got an injured player on the field back here at the 35-yard line, but a wonderful play, very well executed for Colquitt. They're clicking on all cylinders on offense right now.
A gain of about 32, and you and John Nelson were talking about some observations on what Seagraves is doing at the line of scrimmage in terms of checking off and what have you.
Yeah, one thing that Colquitt's doing on offense, Gil, they're not breaking new ground here, because last week they beat the #1 team in the state, Camden County, also a big region rivalry, in large part because of Seagraves' running ability. He racked up 70 yards in the fourth quarter and 170 yards total in that game, just running off tackle right, off tackle left, and just manhandling Colquitt. They're doing a little bit more of that here tonight, and I believe that Rush Probst will stick with that in the underneath passing game until the defense for McEachern makes an adjustment and stops it before he goes to something else.
You see Michael Williams being helped off, the linebacker who backs up Mike Sherman. But it is 1st and 10 for the Pack. You see the total yards from the first quarter. McEachern 122, and the Packers of Colquitt County 69. It's the Pack driving right now, 1st and 10 in the red zone at the McEachern 20. The empty set with Seagraves, and you see 4 wide to the near side. They bring the blitz, and it's Seagraves who calls his own number. Gets down to about the 15.
You know, that's just simply Colquitt County trying to create a mismatch by running 5 receivers out. You mentioned it, 4 to the near side, 1 to the far side, and they're just trying to spread out this very, very fast athletic defense and soften up the middle. And again, it's gonna, if Seagraves is gonna pick up 3, 4, 5 yards of carry, they're gonna do that all night long. And as soon as you start predicting it, they're gonna go underneath to guys like Bobby Hill.
Knock Billingsley on the stop, and there you go. You called it, Trey. Excellent play call underneath the Hill at the 10, and Parham on the stop. 2nd and 7. 10:22 here in the second quarter. Get a look at Rush Probst. Full house backfield, and turning the corner and getting down close to the 5-yard line with the football was Saheem King.
Saheem King is going to think twice next time he goes off tackle, because the big guy, Kel Parham, came in. You'll remember in a similar spot on the field all the way back in the second week of the season, Kel Parham gets ejected from the game for a couple hits on defenseless receivers for Walton, one of which was probably illegal. The other one wasn't, that he got kicked out on. He is an explosive player, one of the biggest hitters we've seen this year.
That's Malik Lewis off the handoff from Seagraves. He gets it close to the 5-yard line. Christian Wade among those on the stop.
Here you see him going off tackle. McEachern, Gil, is known for running the pistol offense, but we've seen here in the early going the pistol offensive formation from Colquitt.
Woods and King are in the football game right now. The lone back is King, and you see 4 wide to the near side and 1 to the far side. Fake give to King, looking in the back of the end zone for Hill, and it falls incomplete. Defending on the play was Ramoy Parsons.
Parsons did a good job. Bobby Hill actually had position on him. And as the quarterback, you're taught to drop back and throw the ball right back to that back pylon. And unfortunately, he put a little bit more mustard on that pass than he needed to, and it sails out of bounds. Should have put a little bit more air under it. 3rd down and goal.
Right, 3rd and goal at the 5. That was the first incomplete pass by Seagraves, too. Seagraves calling his own number, turns the edge, and still fights his way inside the 2, down to about the 1. Parham again on the stop.
This is going to be crucial, Gil. 4th down and goal from the 1-yard line. What you saw right there was the defensive tackle, the guy we talked about on defense, Jemias Pittman. He comes in goal line situations. He actually led Cole Seagraves into the hole.
Part of that jumbo package.
And they've brought the middle linebacker, John Gray, in too. He's directly behind the quarterback.
Full house backfield behind Seagraves, and the give is to Boatwright. He pushes his way. Is he in? Yes, he's in. Touchdown, Packers.
Well, you want an indication about how important this football game is to Rush Probst and company. 4th and goal early in the second quarter, and they go for it. And that's John Gray, the middle linebacker, leading them up in the hole. He is not in at first. He gets stood up by number 14, the senior inside linebacker, Mike Sherman, but he's able to bounce off of him and keep his legs going. It's not a big guy, Gil, 5'10", 180. His second effort got him the touchdown.
The extra point is good. And the men from Moultrie have gone back out in front. 14-10 now. 8:35 in the second. We got a good one here in Powder Springs, and you're loving every minute of it here on the great GPB. We got a good one here at Cantrell Stadium. 14-10 courtesy of the Boatwright touchdown. The Pack out in front. Trey, our scoring drive brought to you by our good friends at TCSG. Learn more, earn more.
Very Colquitt County-esque drive, Gil. 11 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes and 7 seconds, capped off by a 1-yard touchdown run by John Boatwright on 4th down and goal. Gil, only less than 15 minutes into this football game, we've already had 3 lead changes.
To the field, and John Nelson. Nelly.
All right, let's finish up our look at how bracketology goes in 6A. This is the lower left part of the bracket. Early scores, Hughes leading Rockdale County 9-0. North Cobb Valdosta still tied at 7. And right now, Lassiter rolling 21-0 on Brookwood. Some other updates. Grayson leading 28-6. Camden now has the lead in Kingsland against Hillgrove. That's now 14-10. South Gwinnett leading 20-3. West Forsyth is rolling in the lower right part of the bracket at 24-6. North Gwinnett and Johns Creek tied at 7. Norcross is leading 13-0. Lowndes and Marietta guys are tied at 3 back upstairs.
Okay, thank you. Let me know how them Alpharetta Raiders are doing. And Joshua Dobbs. Still with the football in open space. That's Parham. Over midfield and into Colquitt territory. Pushed out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. A gain of 41. It'll be 1st and 10. McEachern right there. Trey.
This junior is having himself a heck of a first half. The star, free safety on defense, returning kicks in the special teams. Coach loves that kid, and from what I see, Gil, I love him too, and he's only a junior.
And right now, from what I understand, got an offer from Troy. And you said Ole Miss was looking at him too, correct?
It's going to go up from there, I believe. I think he is a special talent as a free safety.
1st and 10 at the 45 of Colquitt County for the McEachern Indians. That's Griffin. And still with the football as he turns the edge. He goes downhill, gets close to the 35-yard line. And Garrett Pierce in that second level brings him down.
Straight option, Gil, and he's reading number 55 right there. He sees a lane because Trey Scott makes a nice block. He decides to fake the pitch, and he picks up 9 yards on 1st down. This possession started inside Colquitt territory because of the nice Kel Parham return, and he's really set his team up well, as has Griffin with that 9-yard 1st down carry.
Trey said a gain of 9. That'll bring 2nd and 1 at the 35. That's Griffin off the fake give. And getting close to the 30-yard line, but is pushed back. John Gray, the outstanding 4-year starter, in on the stop for Rush Probst and company.
Yep, it was good enough for a 1st down. Really like what I'm seeing here by the offensive line. The senior number 76, Juwan Delaney from McEachern, the Maryland commit, 6'4", 290 pounds. He's the guy leading him off on the right side. When Griffin runs to the right side, he's running behind big number 76, and wouldn't you?
Right,
6'4", 290.
Well, you know, we remember him. He held his own in that Grayson game. John Nelson did that earlier this year, and he stood out. That's Griffin again. He's running right behind Delaney. And like Trey said, why would you not run behind 6'4" and about 3 bills? 7:18 to go.
And we talked about McEachern's offense being highly complex, Gil, but they're not doing anything tricky here. They're just lining up. When they're in between the 20s, Gil, they're just lining up, and they're letting Ty Griffin just control the show. Of course, he comes out to get a little bit of a breather, and Clemens comes in the pistol formation. This is really what the McEachern offense is designed to do.
Clemens is there looking for a receiver at the back of the end zone, and it falls incomplete. Looked like he had Chris Okey out there. And Malik Williams was also in the neighborhood. And it falls incomplete, bringing up a 3rd and 3 at the 27.
That was just a high pass. You're going to see Griffin come in now, quarterback, and Clemens check out as the first pass that Clemens has thrown, not bootlegging to his right and just taking a conventional drop.
Did you know GPB Sports has a Facebook page? Check us out and like us and be part of GPB Sports and our great family. See behind-the-scenes pictures and get all the info about the football games around the state like us, and you'll be in the know about all things about high school sports.
Gil, O'Shea Williams just came up from his strong safety spot and made a tremendous tackle for loss against the senior Sherman in the backfield. Sherman, although not a big guy, Gil, he is their straight-ahead workhorse-type guy. Not going to do anything fancy, but they really count on him. And here you see a 4th down, exactly 5 yards to go, and they're also attempting to go for it.
Ty Griffin back in, Sherman behind him. And Griffin's going to keep it. And he gets possibly 3, but he is far short of the first down. And Tim Sanders on the stop. You saw the reaction of Coach Hockman.
So running behind number 70, Gil, and tried to make a second move. Nice second effort, but Tim Sanders comes up from his corner position and does a great job in run support. It was a nice initial block for McEachern by number 70, which is actually Demetrius Garner. The second effort just couldn't get him. Both these coaches, Gil, playing for keeps. I believe that is the fourth down that these two teams have gone for here, and we still have a half quarter to play here in the second quarter.
What do we have, Trey? 2 Riverboat Gamblers. Ty Griffin, 10 carries, 70 yards on the ground, courtesy of our statistician Kevin Barnes, and we're glad to have him back. The bubble screen, the dump off, and that is King. Open space and still on his feet close to midfield, and an excellent run and a first down for the Packers of Colquitt, a gain of 24.
Just a weird-looking shovel pass, kind of a middle screen, and Saheem King is really the scat back of the bunch. You're going to see a lot of guys line up in the backfield for Colquitt. He's probably the shiftiest of the bunch, and the outside linebacker, number 30, Justin Pendleton, has to make a tackle, 20, 30 yards downfield.
The empty backfield and the duck in, and then the screen to Hill with open space. He gets over the 35, close to the 30-yard line. Another Packer first down. Great read at the line of scrimmage by Seagraves.
This is the exact same play they ran near midfield on the previous drive that really got the bulk of the yardage that set up their touchdown. And they run it again. It's the fake run up the middle by Cole Seagraves. It's that tunnel screen to Boyd. And again, it's Kel Parham at free safety rushing him out of bounds.
88 different formations run in practice, and we're seeing it right now. Seagraves still with time. Dumps it off to King. The pirouette move close to the 25-yard line. Pendleton on the stop.
McEachern really the team, Gil, known for their no-huddle, but watch the no-huddle here being run to perfection by Cole Seagraves and company. Again, he fakes like he's going to run. He freezes the linebackers, and then everybody has to adjust when he dumps it out in the flat to Saheem King. That's a play they ran on their very first possession of the game. Everything working right now for the Packers.
2nd and 4, King. The lone back behind Seagraves, and like John Nelson says, he's making line and signals at the line of scrimmage. And again, the handoff to King, who turns the corner and gets close to the 20-yard line. On the stop was Christian Wade, and Trey, they're getting into that second level too.
Yeah, Dalton Dillon, their senior center, did a great job pulling on that. Remember, this is a kid that's been injured all year with what Colquitt says is a sports hernia. He's playing in a lot of pain. He's leading the way on the outside there for Saheem King. He picks up another big first down.
And he's had that hernia all season long, and it's been troublesome. And they're concerned it could be something else. But you see the numbers on King right now. And that's a first down. Packers at the McEachern 23. And they lead 14-10 and trying to add on some more. Boatwright, the single back behind Seagraves. You see Hill among those wide to the near side. That is Boatwright, and he is stood up and doesn't get anything. Among those on the stop, Frazier was there. Parham was there as well.
What they did here, Gil, was send Kel Parham, the free safety, the young man we keep talking about that saved a couple touchdowns here on those tunnel screens. They sent him on a safety blitz because they predicted run on that play. One of the few plays that we've seen Colquitt line up in a two tight end formation in the pistol. They predicted run. They guessed right. One of the few things that's gone their way on defense so far tonight. And it looks like Justin Pendleton, the junior outside linebacker, is going to have to fix his equipment before they'll let him play.
Malfunction, right?
Yeah.
Trey, you ever had a uniform malfunction?
Not that I can say.
2nd and 10 at the 23. Boatwright is the lone back. We have 3 wide and 1 to the top of the screen. Out of the shotgun is Seagraves, and we have a man outside, and that looked like Famaroya.
Yeah, Henry Famura just jumped into the neutral zone. And so that'll be a free 5 yards for Colquitt. So they have Kel Parham on the run blitz, Gil. They guess right. They drop Boatwright for a no gain, and now they give him 5 free yards.
Encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
2nd and 5 at the 19. 4:22 until halftime. 3 wide to the near side. King will take the screen on the edge. Over the 10 down to about the 9. Frazier among those on the stop. Sherman was there too.
You'll watch number 61, left guard Travis Register out in space. One-on-one with the senior linebacker Mike Sherman. How'd you like to have the 225-pound two-way player, captain of the team, state wrestling champ, out in space like that, going up against a 175-pound inside linebacker? You got to like your odds on that.
They got the jumbo package in, and Pittman is in there, and a bad snap, and Seagraves has a presence of mind to fall on it, but it'll be a loss.
That is really the worst thing that has happened to Colquitt all game so far. We got 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Everything has gone their way. Right now, McEachern breathing a sigh of relief because that's the only thing so far that has backed up the Colquitt offense. Now they're going to have to rebound, Gil. It's 2nd down and looks like about 22 yards to go. They have to get to the 1.5-yard line to pick up a first.
A loss of 11, and Trey said 2nd and very long. Seagraves dumps the screen off to Boatwright, and a great tackle by Frazier close to the 20-yard line. And they may have been lucky just to get to the line of scrimmage. They'll try it again.
This is the first time we've called Glenn Frazier's name. He is the true middle linebacker for this team. Leads them in tackles with 120. You see why there. Coach Hockman said that young man could probably play tailback or quarterback because of all the talent on this team. He has the job of middle linebacker and makes a great open field tackle there.
Saheem King, the lone back with Seagraves, and you see 3 wide to the near side, 1 at the top of your screen. 14-10. The Packers of Colquitt County. 2:50 and counting here until halftime. Seagraves in the pocket, runs out, is flushed out, has a receiver, and that is incomplete. And the intended receiver over there was number 83, Todd Boyd. So it falls incomplete.
You see number 15 at the top of your screen get sucked in by Octavius Jackson, and that gives new life to Seagraves. Normally when you give him a second opportunity, he'll pick you apart, but it's great job staying home by the defense and staying on your man. That's one of those plays, Gil, where it's very easy to lose track of the guy you're defending in open space, and now they've got a 40-yard field goal attempt.
Roberto Vega will try for a 40-yarder. It is no good. And the Indians dodge a bullet.
Gil, the last possession for McEachern, and now the last possession for Colquitt, the only 2 so far of the game that have not resulted in points.
Get a look at Rush Propst, and of course, disciple of Reagan Clark, Hal Mumme, Tony Franklin. Also learned a little bit from Steve Spurrier, the reaction of Roberto Vega. And of course, Vega took over from our good friend Oscar Luna. Remember Oscar Luna last year?
He was a good, what do you call him, Gil? A good one?
He's a good one.
We've seen a lot of good kickers past couple years.
So the Indians dodge a bullet, will take over 1st and 10 at their own 22-36 until halftime. See the man in motion. That was Clemens. And we have a whistle, flags, and a stoppage of play. 14-10 if you just joined us here on GPB. The men of Moultrie, Colquitt County out in front here on playoff weekend #1 as we move forward to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta in December.
False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
That's the 3rd false start for McEachern here in the first half of the game.
How do you not clean that up?
Penalties are really hurting him. I understand them being a little over anxious. This is a huge 1st-round playoff game. So far, it hasn't really cost him much, but this is not the place on the field where you want to jump offside. Now you're all the way backed up at the 15.
The empty set, Griffin with the 1st and 15, drops back, has a receiver, and that pass is complete. That is Ty Clemens over on the 25-yard line, but he's pushed back. Next Friday, we continue our live coverage of high school football, of the playoffs, and a road to the Dome. We have a special early kickoff, 7:30 for the holiday, so tune in for the exciting pregame show, followed by the week 2 of the playoffs. We're live at 7:30 only on GPB, and check our website for the exact game in your neighborhood, and our local listings will start at 7:30 Eastern. Turning the corner is Griffin, and going for the ride is number 55, Quentin Hampton, on the stop. 1:49 and counting down.
Quentin Hampton does a fantastic job. Normally, Griffin is able to bounce that outside and turn that into a 1st down, but inside linebacker, the sophomore, Quentin Hampton, does a fantastic job. The play before that, we saw for the first time Ty Clemens making a catch at wide receiver. Now that Coach Hockman has both of his receivers, or excuse me, quarterbacks healthy, you're going to see sometimes Griffin line up at tailback when Clemens is quarterback, and Clemens lined up at wide receiver when Griffin is quarterback.
You see the split screen of the 2 sidelines. On one side, Rush Probst. On the other side, it's Kyle Hockman and his brain trust right now, Ty Griffin, 11 carries, 72 yards. And of course, the pictures brought to you by an outstanding crew. GPB on loan today, our good friend from CSS, Russ Aaron. Downstairs to John Nelson. Nelly, hello.
What's going on? Here's what's going on in 5A. Let's look at the upper left-hand part of the bracket with the dominating team in 5A at Northside Warner Robins. Right now, they're beating Effingham County handily up 28-0. Thomas County, Central, and Creekside are tied at 7. North Paulding, a bit of a surprise, beating Flowery Branch right now. Creekview and Tucker in complete control there, 24-3. Some other action. Marist and Carrollton are leading their games at the half. Buford is up 14-7 in their game. And also, here's your big surprise so far. It's from the lower classifications. Westminster, who went into the playoffs at 4-6, are leading in Lindale against Pepperell. So that's the biggest surprise on the board so far tonight, guys.
Nice. Griffin on the edge. And has an intended receiver out there up at the 40-yard line, but it falls incomplete. It looked like Malik Williams. But it falls incomplete. Defending on the play was Garrett Pierce, and he may have gotten away with a little PI.
He may have. It was good coverage, but right before the ball arrived to Malik Williams, it looked like he got sort of pushed off of his spot just a little bit. It looked like that play they were trying to set up that little outside pass in the flat to Taj Griffin, but they're unable to have him open on that play, so they had to improvise with the bootleg, and Colquitt gets a big stop.
First punt of the game. It'll be McEachern, and you know John talked about Westminster out in front of good friend Jay Romberg. Good to see him and that program on track here tonight. Punt sailing and taking a McEachern roll, and it nestles at about the 28-yard line, a punt of 48. Follow us on Twitter at GPB Sports and stay connected to our GPB Sports team. Keep up with what our sports teams has to say with up-to-the-minute tweets. Check us out and follow us. We would love to have you. And I know John is tweeting. Trey, you tweeting, huh?
Not yet, I'm not. I'll move into the Twitter world sometime around the holidays. I'm holding out as long as I can.
But John Nelson is a tweet master. 1st and 10 at the 29. 14-10. The Pack out in front as we work our way until halftime. That's Seagraves. And he dumps it off, and he has a receiver, and that is complete and in the open field right now and going out of bounds close to the 40-yard line into the Indian territory is Todd Boyd, a gain of 30. 1st and 10, Colquitt County.
And look who it is saving another touchdown. 3rd time tonight that I can recall that Kel Parham has been the last line of defense, what we kept talking about in our open, and he saved 3 touchdowns tonight. Remember, the only possession that Colquitt has not scored on was their last possession. They missed a 40-yard field goal.
1st and 10 at the 41. Seagraves loads up, and he has a receiver. That's Boyd, and it's complete, and he's out of bounds inside the 5 at the McEachern 4.
If we get a high look at that, Gil, that is just a blown coverage.
36 yards.
Junior Todd Boyd just streaking down.
1st and goal.
That's just a 9 route straight down the sideline. Parham notices that at the last second there is no cornerback guarding Todd Boyd. Parham has to come over there. He wouldn't have caught him had he been able to stay in bounds. Big time pass play, biggest of the night for Cole Seagraves.
Hill and Boyd to the near side. Keyshawn Taylor, top of your screen. Seagraves calls his own number, but he will get none of that. They pushed him back. A horde of Indians there on the stop.
The defensive end on the defensive left side, junior Mackenzie Billingsley just pinches down the line right there. And that was a good call by the defensive coordinator. He knows out of that formation, Gil, that Seagraves likes to run the ball, and he's run it a lot tonight. Billingsley pinches down and makes a big-time tackle.
And that formation you're talking about is that jumbo package where they bring in, and of course they either bring in the big fella, Pittman. In this case, John Gray was right there. And to no avail.
It's the big fella, Jemias Pittman, 280, or the slightly less big fella, 238-pounder John Gray, the middle linebacker.
You know, GPB Sports now has an app with up-to-minute scores, full season schedules, sports news, rankings, and so much more. Our new app is a perfect way to keep up with all your favorite Georgia high school football teams the entire year. Download the GPB Sports Football app for your iPhone and iPad today. And the best part, it is FREE free. Download it now and enjoy. I know what I'm going to get Trey McDaniel for Christmas.
What's that?
An iPad. Huh?
I'm not going to say no. I should expect that win. At the game next week?
It'll be Christmas Day. Remember today, in fact, I asked you, so that was a clue. Okay. I said, Trey, when is Christmas Day? And you said, what did you tell me?
It's a Tuesday.
Okay.
December 25th.
Look under your tree.
It's always December 25th.
Look under your tree.
It's a Tuesday.
St. Nick will be arriving in Loganville.
You're going to show up at my house with a big red suit on and a big red hat. The kids would love it, Gil.
You got it. Uncle Gillyroy. 2nd and 5. 2nd and goal at the 5. You see the time left. Seagraves off the play action, and he rolls right under pressure. Looks in the back of the end zone. And he had a couple of receivers in the neighborhood, one of which was Boatwright. The other over there was big number 88, Nate Madison, and it falls incomplete. Parham was among those defending on the play, so the Pack will try again at 3rd and goal at the 5. They lead 14-10.
Cole Seagraves had eyes in the back of his head right there. Henry Famura, the defensive end, was really bearing down on him. He got rid of the ball just in time, and Famura still laid him out. Seagraves popped up wanting to roughing the passer call, but it was a legit hit, and now they have to regroup on 3rd down and goal.
King blown back. Bad snap. Seagraves falls on it because it was out there and loose. And McEachern looks like they have held.
So far tonight, Colquitt's worst enemy on offense has been the snap. Remember on the last possession, the first of tonight, that they have not scored. The reason why they were forced to attempt a 40-yard field goal in the previous possession is they had a really bad snap that rolled way past Seagraves. At least that one he was able to track down within a couple yards of the line of scrimmage. But either way, it's a big, big, big fourth down and goal. This isn't a fourth and goal like they had on the previous possession, 2 possessions ago, fourth and goal from the 1. This is fourth and goal, Gil, from the 12-yard line. A much different scenario.
You know, Trey, we couldn't do it without all our great fans. Please help us continue these great games by texting GPB to 85944 to donate $10. It's simple, it's easy, and it makes you feel good to support something great going on in your state and in your respective neighborhoods. Please help us continue these wonderful games. Remember to reply yes to confirm your donation, standard data, and text message rates apply. One-time charge of $10 will be added to your phone bill. Support these great games, these great kids, these great communities, and these great parents and teachers, and we say thank you. Vega will be on to try to make this a 17-10. It will be 29 yards. The kick is up, and did it clear? It is good. A 29-yarder by Roberto Vega. Take a look at it, Trey.
Gil, this is huge for McEachern because they keep this a one-possession game. Vega had missed a 40-yarder on the previous possession, and here it's a little bit of a wobbler and a knuckleball, but he finds a way to squeak it between the uprights. Very, very close, but they gave him the 3 points and a big moral victory for the McEachern defense. They have not been able to really stop Colquitt at all, but they're going to go into the locker room at least as a one-possession game unless something very weird happens in the next 43 seconds. I'm interested to see how Coach Hockman's going to play it here in the next 43 seconds. I believe he'll be very conservative here unless he gets a very, very good kickoff return like he did previously by Kel Parham.
Bannister will kick it off. 9 plays, 50 yards. The elapsed time, 47 seconds. And you see the scoring drive. 6 plays, 50 yards, and 47 seconds. And it's brought to you by our good friends at TCSG. Learn more, earn more. 43 ticks until halftime. Mark Harmon and company getting ready for the halftime show. And of course, you know, we talked about this earlier. McEachern coming in here red hot, 2 opening losses to open the season against Grayson and Walton. And then Colquitt County with the big win 13-12 last week over Camden County. And Rush Probst and company 8-2 on the road. Road Warriors. You know, he told me he's going to start next year in Birmingham. They're going to play Hoover.
That'll be a dandy.
At Metropolitan Stadium in Hoover, Alabama. The kick goes out of bounds. Parham lets it go out of bounds, so McEachern will take over 1st and 10. Coming up at halftime, social media update. Grace Olson, John Nelson on that. Are you smarter? I love those principal interviews when Mark tries to stump him, Mark Harmon. And of course, those marching bands. See Alicia Katz and all the crew staying warm down there. Alicia, the floor director, does a great job.
You can always find Alicia. She's from Florida. She'll be the one standing as close to the heater as possible.
She always gets it done. One of the great people here at GPB. So many people, and all of us wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving holiday. Get ready for Turkey Day. And of course, Jen Hobby had that great
No, we're having fun down there with that, weren't you?
Yeah, John Nelson was having more fun than I was.
Nelly reverted to a 5-year-old squirting whipped cream in his mouth.
Jen Hobby can cook. The fake give to Sherman. That's Clemens on the edge. They're getting close to first down yardage. Yeah, close to the 45-yard line. Gray among those on the stop for the men of Moultrie, who lead 17-10. 27 seconds to go until halftime.
Yeah, no sense of urgency right now.
No huddle for the Indians.
They got a break with the kickoff going out of bounds, starting at the 35. If they could have broke a big play right there, I believe you would have seen them really try to score here, but instead they keep it very conservative. And barring anything crazy, they'll go to the locker room within 1 possession. It's not a bad place to be. Both these offenses are very explosive. I don't think we've seen the best of the Indian offense so far tonight. Look for both defenses, especially Gil, to make some adjustments in the locker room.
Get a look at Kyle Hockman. Of course, Kyle had coached at Campbell. And I'll tell you what, I regret the day he left because the Campbell program misses him tremendously.
Yeah, a program very near and dear to you, Gil.
Right around the corner. And, of course, really loved what he was doing in the community, got frustrated, and then moved on. Coach Dorsey had a great opportunity for here, and you can't blame him for moving on. And this Sunday at 7 o'clock, another new episode of Georgia Traveler. David Zelski and crew set out on the Athens food tour. They stop at Jittery Joe's and explore the iconic folk art wonderland of Somerville, and then travel to Lookout Mountain to climb aboard the Incline Railway. All that and more. Catch a new episode this Sunday, 7 o'clock. The Traveler team is looking forward to it and looking for you. I want to give you an inside scoop. That's Trey McDaniel's favorite program on the many great programs at GPB. Get a look at the marching band from Colquitt County. Like I said, they came up yesterday. And I was talking to Coach Probst. He said they have a lot of alumni in the Metro Atlanta area, and a lot of them are here tonight.
Yeah, you saw a few of them go out and introduce themselves or reacquaint themselves to the coach during the pregame warm-ups.
It's Clemens. And he has Griffin over the 30. Pushed his way inside the 25 and 4 seconds to go.
But they just burned their last time out, Gil, so they've got to clock this if they want to try to attempt a field goal. Clock will stop on a first down until they reset it.
1st and 10, and like Trey said, they will drop it immediately. And they do.
Interesting, Gil, after that first quarterback run that we saw and didn't really gain anything, they had no sense of urgency getting back in the huddle. I thought they were just going to salt away the final 30 seconds. That was a very well-designed play. That's actually backup quarterback Ty Clemens throwing the football at the wide receiver position to starting quarterback Ty Griffin, and they have set themselves up and given themselves an opportunity to get the 3 points back that they just yielded on defense not more than 30 seconds ago.
That's David Dominguez. He will attempt a 44-yarder with 2 ticks to go here until halftime. It'll be out of the hold of Ty Clemens and a timeout.
Colquitt will just try to regroup here.
Boy, look at Rush Probst. He is not happy.
This has become the thing to do at all levels, Gil, is the opposing team lines up to kick a field goal and you call a timeout. I don't necessarily know that it has much of an effect on the kicker. We'll see here shortly.
Want to extend greetings to our fans down in Moultrie who are watching our broadcast here tonight.
One of the most loyal fan bases in high school football that I have ever seen. The people down in Moultrie absolutely live, eat, and breathe Colquitt Packer football.
I remember going over and talking to Coach Maloof at Norcross, and they scrimmaged them during the summer, and he said, Gil, that community understands. They went down. They actually took like a road trip. Spent a couple days and camped out and kind of hung in the community, and it's a wonderful community down there.
It is.
In Moultrie. They love their football.
They sent an entire charter bus up here this afternoon for the game, and they've turned out more people on the visiting side than we've seen in a lot of the suburban games that we've done this year from other teams that are just a couple miles down the road. These people have come all the way up from Moultrie, and they've really showed out for their team today.
You get a look at the, as Coach Probst says, Packer Nation. Packer Nation in the heat.
Coach Probst has really found a home there. You can tell in talking to him that he's very, very comfortable at Colquitt. Of course, he comes over from Hoover, Alabama, where he had unprecedented success at Hoover. A lot of people know him as the head coach from the Two-A-Day program that aired on MTV. It kind of made him famous, but 6 state championships at Hoover, Alabama.
A 44-yard attempt by Dominguez out of the hole of Ty Clemens. And they're going to fake it. Clemens is going to roll, and Colquitt smells it, sniffs it out, but Clemens reverses his field. 15, 10, and brought down at the 5-yard line by Tim Sanders. Thank goodness Tim Sanders was there. A gain of 35, but the clock expires. Look at this play, the fake field goal, and then Number 2, Ty Clemens, is on the loose. Almost brought down by Johnny Ward. Then reverses his field. Sanders is going to come in your screen and bring him down right there.
From behind, no less, Gil. And what they wanted to do, if the timing were right, was they wanted to find Ty Griffin streaking down the middle of the field. He had a seam, but the timing didn't work out.
All right, downstairs to John Nelson and Coach Probst. Gentlemen.
Thank you, GT. Interesting way to end a half, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good call. We felt like they might fake it right there, but we lost containment, and didn't get him tackled up back in the back, and then he's an athlete now. He can run, so we're fortunate to get him tackled with no points right there.
And then obviously, short of those 2 bad snaps, is a pretty good first half for you.
Yeah, I mean, we left 10 points on the field. I mean, we ought to be sitting up here 27-10 instead of 17-10, and I mean, that's a disappointing thing. Our field goal kicker misses a dadgum kick, and then we have 2 freaking snaps that have been uncharacteristic of us. And, well, one of the snaps hit the up back in our little jumbo package and on a little design play that we run, and we really outsmarted ourselves on that one, and then, it just happens to you.
All right, thanks for your time. We'll catch up with you second half. That's Rush Probst, guys. Let's send over to Mark Harmon, the best seat in the house.
Hey, John, thanks very much. We're getting ready for our GPB Football Fridays in Georgia halftime show. We got a good one coming up. We'll hear from both marching bands, and they are both excellent. We'll talk to both principals. We'll also have scores from around the state. So stay with us on GPB's Football Fridays in Georgia halftime show. It's coming up right after this timeout right now. At Cantrell Stadium in Powder Springs, Georgia, Colquitt County leads McEachern by a score of 17-10 in the first round of the playoffs. Win, you stay in. Lose, and you're heading home. Stay with us for our halftime show coming up next. We are at halftime of the Colquitt County McEachern game, live from Powder Springs, live from Cantrell Stadium. Let's check in now with the sounds of the Colquitt High School Marching Band, the 50th Regiment Marching Band, presented by Regions Bank. Let's listen in. Soloist Adam Sassine and Lauren Stavley there on the trumpet, performing with the 50th Regiment Band, doing a great job as always. We welcome now into the program the principal of Colquitt County, Bob Jones. Good to have you here, and as always, Colquitt County travels well. You brought a lot of fans up.
Yes, sir. We sold about 700 pre-sale tickets, and not only do we have a lot of great fans here tonight, we've got some sitting around the courthouse with an inflatable big screen. Thanks to CNS, our local cable service operator that is broadcasting the game live there at our courthouse square.
Well, great. Well, listen, you've got a lot of excitement going down there. A new high school at Colquitt County.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our voters decided that it was time to build a new high school. Going to break ground in June, and got a lot of people involved with it, and it's a great thing for our community.
Now, one of your fellow teachers, assistant principal, a big honor.
Yes, sir. Stephanie Terrell won an honor as GASSP Assistant Principal of the Year for high schools. So it's a great honor for Colquitt County and Moultrie and for Stephanie.
All right, it's time to play Are You Smarter Than Your Students? A question from today in Georgia history. So reach in there and let's get a question. And we've got one here from May 16th, 1777. Button Gwinnett, a signer of the Declaration of Independence, became embroiled in a bitter political dispute with Lackland McIntosh. How did they settle that dispute? Was it rock, paper, scissors, best 2 out of 3? Was it a celebrity dance-off? Was it C, by asking Dear Abby, or was it by George's duel to the death?
That's a tough one. Duel to the death.
Yes, I hear that ding. You are correct. You are smarter than your students. Thanks for coming on, and good luck the rest of the season.
Appreciate it.
All right. For more information on Today in Georgia History, which is a joint production of the Georgia Historical Society and GPB, it's easy. Just go to todayingeorgiahistory.org. Coming up, when we come back, we'll hear from the McEachern Marching Band. We'll talk to the McEachern principal as well. We've got scores from around the state, and there are some upsets to talk about. Plus, John Nelson joins us with a huge story of a season comeback. It's all coming up next after this timeout. Welcome back to GPB's Football Fridays at Georgia halftime show. Right now, McEachern trails Colquitt County 17-10 at the halftime break, and we welcome into the program the principal at McEachern High School, Regina Montgomery. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be back.
And what a great setting this is, because this is the largest on-campus stadium in the entire state, and it's full of fans.
And it's a beautiful place. Great place to be.
Now, you've got some building projects going on which affects the field here. Tell us about that.
Yes, we're getting ready to replace our turf. It's about 11 years old, so we're going to do that in January, and we're also looking at getting a new scoreboard. Hopefully we'll all be all set for next year's football season.
All right, let's talk about academically what's going on at McEachern High School these days.
Well, we're doing great academically. Of course, you know, it's testing season, and we're getting ready to go into the EOCTs and ending the semester and just getting really started with next semester and ready to end the year. We're doing a great job academically.
All right, it's time to play Are You Smarter Than Your Students? We take a question from our Today in Georgia History project. So reach in there and see what we have. All right, it says here, May 24th, 1819. It was the first steamship in the world to cross the Atlantic, and no other American steamship would do it again for another 30 years. What's the name of the ship? Was it A, the SS Savannah, B, the Love Boat, C, the Mayflower, or D, the Black Pearl?
The SS Savannah, A.
SS Savannah is correct. You are smarter than your students as always, and thank you for playing the game and coming on.
Thank you very much.
Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, for more information on Today in Georgia History, which is a joint production of the Georgia Historical Society and GPB, it's easy. Just go to todayingeorgiahistory.org. Now let's listen into the sounds of the McEachern High School Marching Band presented by Regions Bank.
The band would like to welcome the McEachern cheerleaders under the direction of Kelly Bice.
The McEachern Band, the director of the band is Jeff Harper. The theme tonight is School Spirit, and the band is playing their fight songs and traditional school spirit tunes. The cheerleaders will be performing with them tonight, so that's a big plus as well. They were the winners of the Jacksonville Regional Bands of America Championship in 2010. Let's listen back in. Great job by the McEachern Marching Band. You know, John Nelson, he directed the Southwest DeKalb Band this season, so he knows what that's all like. He travels all over the state to bring us the very best in stories, and you're again traveling the state.
It was a trip this time down I-185, and this time of year you get to see all the teams that really get to make it into the second season or the third season. And there's some really cool stories of teams that came up off the mat and have made it to the playoffs, and one of those is at Harris County. The Harris County Tigers have never won more than 7 games in a season, one time in Tommy Park's 2007 year, and they've only had 5 winning seasons since 1960. Very few outside the program thought they'd be where they are. Those few work out on the Mesa after school.
But I think everybody on this team just kind of knew that, because our coaches kept telling us we were one click away from just jump starting and taking off. And I think when we played Douglas County, that finally happened.
Then the Tigers ran off 5 in a row and had a chance to get the school's first region title. All they had to do was beat Thomas County Central in the Jackets' nest.
We were all excited, just astonished that we were actually in a region championship game, and we knew we had a chance to make history, and do something big for Harris County, so we knew we just had to win the football game.
We're pretty much the underdog. Nobody's giving us a chance, period. Nobody you can name, not even your mama. So we went down there and we were saying to ourselves, we are coming way too far just to lose a football game. Like, we're not going to take charter buses and drive 4 and 5 hours, leave at 8:30 in the morning, miss a whole day of school, just lose.
This playoff berth and region title had given the town of Hamilton a shock to some, a surprise to most, and something that hasn't sunk in yet something to cherish for all.
You know, I'm sure it'll be after the season's over with, you know, what all we accomplished this year, you know. But, you know, at this point, these guys they're not ready for the season to be over with, you know. I mean, they still feel like they have a lot to play for. And, you know, we're excited to be able to host the first playoff game here in Hamilton. So those types of things really hadn't sunk in. They're just kind of looking for the next opponent.
And Mark, that first opponent tonight is Northgate on the first anniversary of the tornado that hit campus. They're beating Northgate tonight in Hamilton.
All right, let's check out some other scores on our Georgia EMC scoreboard from around the state. We start off top-ranked team in Class 6A, Lassiter, John.
Leading 21-3 at the break over Brookwood Grayson. No problems with Wheeler up 29. That game in Kingsland is now 21-10 in the third quarter. Camden leading Hillgrove. North Gwinnett 28-7 at the break. Marietta now leading Lowndes in the third, 16-6. Also on the board, North Cobb, no problems at all with Valdosta. It's 35-17 in the third. Northside Warner Robins now at 41-7 fourth quarter. Sandy Creek up 21-0 at the break in Calhoun. No problems with Wesleyan, 42-10 in the third quarter. Peach County Jefferson tied at 14. Westminster is your lone upset on the board right now, leading Pepperell 17-0 at the break.
And John, Football Fridays in Georgia is not just for TV, correct?
No, it is not. You can do it on Twitter. As you follow us on Twitter, you can do that as @GPB Sports and come up with hashtags for the teams as well. And we also have the Facebook page at GPB Sports right there. There's your Twitter handle @GPB Sports. The Facebook page right there. All of the stuff that Grace Olson's doing interviews during the games. You can go and friend us at GPB Sports right there. All of the information's right there to keep track of us, and you tell us what's going on in the state. And also, there's that thing called an app. There's an app for that. Someone made that phrase somewhere. So on your iPad and all of your other stuff, iPhone, iPad, download the app. It is FREE free, and it's cool, and you can keep track of everything going on in the state right there.
And it's a good time to get that because it's playoff time.
That is no doubt about that.
All right, hit the sidelines. Good job.
Gonna do it.
All right. We are on the road to the Dome, and the playoffs are here, sports fans. GPB will once again be your home for the GHSA postseason. We have the best games all the way to the state championship game in the Georgia Dome in December. GPB is your home for the GHSA championships once again. Now time for our Career Play of the Week, presented by the Technical College System of Georgia. A career in business, finance, and an entrepreneur can change your life. The fields are full of traditionally high-earning jobs, and not all of them require years of college. Banking, accounting, and marketing management are just a few options. Professionals working in these fields are trained to adapt in a changing economy and succeed in tough times. It takes focus and training, but the opportunities are endless for anyone who will work hard and work smart. That's why the field of business is our Career Play of the Week, and this message is brought to you by the Technical College System of Georgia. Visit tcsg.edu for more information on that. Well, we're getting ready to kick off the second half of the Colquitt County-McEachern game right now. The Packers leading at 17-10 at the break. But before we get back to the action, we want to tell you a way you can keep programming like this on the air. It's very easy. If you want to show your appreciation of high school football on GPB, you can text a $10 donation to help keep this show on the air. All you have to do is text the letters GPB to the number 85944. Be sure to reply yes, and message and data rates may apply. Hold on to your hat. It's time for the second half. It's time to send it up to the booth. Gil and Trey, take it away.
Hey, Mark, how you doing? Halftime festivities are wrapping up here at Powder Springs. Colquitt County, the Panthers, the Packers up 7. We'll be right back to take a look at the second half and a whole lot more after these very important messages on the great GPB.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flame went higher, and it burned.
Packers up 7 as we get ready to start the second half. John Nelson standing by with the McEachern's Kyle Hockman. Gentlemen.
Thank you, GT, here with the coach. Coach taking some last-minute notes from his meetings. What were those meetings that led to those notes?
Just trying to tighten up a few things. You know, we had several offsides penalties, probably extended their drive once and cut us short once. So, honestly, that's probably a little bit of the difference in the game. Tightening up a few man coverage things defensively, trying to make sure we're handling those screens. Obviously, that's got us 2 or 3 times. Defense or offensively, again, just a couple of those silly mistakes stop a drive. But I think we're right where we want to be. You know, it's a 1-score game. It's a great atmosphere. This is what it's about. And let's go play football.
All right, thanks for your time. Go get him second half.
You bet.
We'll send it back upstairs. Gil and Trey.
All right, John, Coach and John, we say thank you. Trey McDaniel, let's take a look at the first half highlights of this football game. Packers of Colquitt County up 7.
Yeah, here's the first touchdown, designed just to pick up a yard because it was 3rd down and 1, and they end up scoring a touchdown. That's Cole Seagraves. Then a very nice pass here from Clemens to Trey Scott, the touchdown, and a very hard-earned touchdown there by Boatwright. We had 3 lead changes within the first quarter and a half of this football game, and the only thing to stop Colquitt County has been a couple of bad snaps. You see one there, you see another there. One of them led to a missed 40-yard field goal. The other one led to a 29-yard made field goal, and that's where we stand now, 17-10, Colquitt up by 7. Look at these time of possession dead even at 12 apiece. That's kind of what you expect from this game. Hockman talked about the penalties. They've had 3 offsides penalties. That accounts for 3 of those 5. But McEachern leading in rushing yards, thanks in large part to their senior quarterback, Ty Griffin. He's gotten the bulk of those yards, but 212 passing yards by Colquitt. That's come on those screens that Coach Hockman was just talking about. 2 outside screens on the left side of the offensive formation to Bobby Hill, and a middle one to Todd Boyd has really been the difference in this football game. Everything else has been kind of dink and dunk, 5-6 yards at a time, but those big plays in the passing game have been the difference in this football game.
So you say that 212 would indicate yak yards after catch because they've been eating them up big time. But it's like Coach Hockman said, great atmosphere and everything going great. Great football game. We're still in it. Let's go play football. You see Seagraves' numbers right now, 13 of 16 at one stretch was, really getting it done. But it's tapered off a little bit, but still you got to like those numbers right now.
I mean,
minimal.
That would be a good game for Cole Seagraves, 212 yards. Most impressive, though, is the percentage, Gil. Right. 13 of 16, 212 yards. And that's why he's such a dual threat. They beat the #1 team in the state last week, Camden County, which might I add is a huge region rivalry for them, so a big game to close out the season. They could have just coasted in. They were going to be the #4 seed no matter what. Instead, they played that game, and Cole Seagraves racks up over 100 yards rushing. He comes out here tonight and does it with his arm. This is what we expected to see from Cole Seagraves to start the season, but he got off to a rough start. He's thrown 10 interceptions on the season. That's why he was replaced with the sophomore Mobley, and he's in the right spot at the right time, ready to step in and take the reins when Mobley goes down with a sore shoulder, and he's really showing you why he was projected to be one of the best quarterbacks in the state to start the year.
And what did he do? Turn down, a couple scholarships, didn't he? And now it's about square one in terms of people looking at him.
Yeah, Rush Probst actually said, I don't really want you to turn these scholarships down, but he did it anyway. There you see his counterpart, Ty Griffin, really getting it done on the ground. He's also caught a couple passes, one of which was the one down here on the near sideline that almost set up a last-second field goal at the end of the half. So he's been getting it done, him and Clemens both. They're the go-to guys, the dynamic duo, as I call them, on offense for McEachern. They're really going to have to step up and really lead this McEachern team, not just with their play, but also in the huddle. They've really got to command the offense for McEachern. They really don't want to get in a shootout with Colquitt. But as I mentioned, Gil, both defenses had a lot of adjustments to make. At the half, we'll find out which defense comes out firing here on all cylinders in the second half.
And Colquitt County will receive the football to start this second half, and back deep, or among those back deep, is Tim Sanders. Chris Okey will boot it off as toe meets leather. A little pooch kick taken by one of the up men, and that looked like that was Johnny Gray.
It was.
And he kind of tumbles out of bounds, so the Packers will take over, 1st and 10 right there.
He might have cost his team about 7 yards of field position because that one was heading out of bounds, and if they get a flag on kicking procedure, it takes the ball all the way out to the 35. Instead, not bad field position, 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. And let's see if Colquitt picks up where they left off, Gil. Only one possession where they did not get points in the first half, and you could tell going into the locker room, Coach Probst felt like he left about 10 points on the football field.
He wasn't afraid to let us know about it either. We got whistles and flags and stoppage of play after the snap to Seagraves, who tried to turn the corner on the edge. So we'll do a do-over. 17-10.
Dead ball. False start. On the offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
The coaching staff of McEachern trying to rev up this crowd here at Cantrell Stadium. Host Indians trailing with 17-10. 4 wide to the near side. And the lone receiver at the top of your screen, the empty set. Seagraves will take it, barrels over a would-be tackler, and gets over the 25, over the 28, close to the 30-yard line.
Gil, every time they've come out in this formation, empty backfield, 4 receivers to one side, a 5th receiver to the top. They've run a quarterback sneak out of this formation every single time. It's been very predictable, and it looked like McEachern's defense caught on right there.
11:34 here in the third period, 17-10. Colquitt out in front. King, the lone back behind Seagraves. The fake give to King, they'll dump it out in the flat to Boatwright over the 35-40. And pushed out of bounds and then shoved out of bounds even more. A gain of 15. That'll be close to a first down.
This is exactly what Coach Hockman was worried about with his defense coming into this football game. This Colquitt offense really dinks and dunks you. The only long pass they've had tonight was on a blown coverage in the second quarter. Everything else has been underneath for short yardage, and as you mentioned, Gil, yards after the catch have absolutely killed McEachern.
The empty set and the dump off to Hill. He's close to the 45-yard line and pushed out of bounds. Among those over there on the stop, Taj Griffin.
That's probably the best job. That's probably the best job they've done all night to limit the yards after the catch for Bobby Hill. Just a 4-yard gain.
2nd and 7 at the 45. Seagraves. And the give was to Boatwright. Mike Sherman on the stop. Looked like Boatwright tried to duck inside. He had no room. And Sherman was right there to push him back and make the nice stick, as you can see right there.
Christian Wade comes up from his linebacker position, number 53, Gil, to fill the hole, and that's what stops Boatwright. And then the pursuit down the line of scrimmage by number 14, Mike Sherman. He comes in and cleans up the mess. Great job. Seldom have we seen McEachern have a tackle for loss or tackle for no gain. They set up 3rd and long here.
Seagraves had Hill over the middle, but he threw behind him. And defending on the play was Frazier. He was there. Also over there was Justin Pendleton. It falls incomplete.
Now, Gil, in a similar position on the field, Colquitt came out and acted like they were going to go for it and actually got an encroachment on the defense. But this time that's not going to work because you're 4th and more than 5. So we're actually going to see Colquitt punt for the first time tonight. And one thing that happened on that previous play, Seagraves had Bobby Hill open, but it was Famura's pressure that caused the incompletion.
Tyler Yost will boot it off and letting it drop. And it takes a Packer roll and nestles at about the 11.
We'll put a little
punt of 43.
Put a little English on that punt. Looked like Mark Harmon's short game on the golf course right there.
Mark, he's talking about you. Mark got a pretty good short game. You know, got a long game too.
So I hear. Here you see Ty Clemens in the huddle. Remember, just being in the huddle doesn't necessarily mean you're going to take the snap. They try to put those two guys, now that they're both healthy, on the field at the same time. The junior Ty Clemens, who you see right there, and his counterpart, number 10, Ty Griffin. The two Ties, the dual threat, two-headed monster, if you will, dynamic duo. When those guys are on the field at the same time, this is an awfully dangerous team, but this is the worst field position they've had of the night.
You're absolutely right. They are backed up to McEachern Indians at their own 12. They trail 17-10. Quick snap, quick hold, stop and go move. That's Griffin. And it's a rugby scrum. Among those in there are gray, and we have yellow And a flag. And the flag came all the way from the secondary tray.
Yeah, it looks like Jemias Pittman, number 95, was out in space with a couple McEachern players, and he might have gotten a personal foul. You've seen this a couple times tonight, some extracurriculars going on after the play, and Pittman still running his mouth right there. You see a good shot of him, number 95, a phenomenal talent, junior defensive tackle. He's going to go on to play big-time college football somewhere, but he might have lost his poise right there. The officials are conferring about the 23-yard line. We'll find out who this one's going to be on. Either way, I think it's a 15-yarder.
They're about ready to mark it off too, Trey. You absolutely right. Preliminary indications.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. 15 yards. The result, first down.
And they march off a whopping 15, and the reaction of Coach Probst tells it all.
Well, Coach Probst really preaches playing hard and playing to the whistle. His teams year in and year out, Gil, are some of the toughest kids that you'll see in high school football. And here you see on the field, away from the sideline, John Gray really having a hard time getting his defense lined up.
That's Griffin on the edge, midfield and more. Open space, 30, 20, 25, juke move, and brought down at the Colquitt 9. 53 yards.
Gil, we talked about it early in the game. I said when they ran this play in the second quarter that normally Griffin is used to being able to find that gear and get to the edge, but he wasn't able to do it earlier in the game. He's able to find the edge here. You think he's got a touchdown. Coming down the field from his corner position is number 4, John Ward, makes a touchdown-saving tackle. That is the biggest play of the night from McEachern, and they're threatening tying this football game right now. First down and 10, goal just inside the 10.
12 carries, 125 yards for Griffin, and he gets stood up among those on the stop. That big fella Pittman, and Sanders was there to clean it up. Gain of 1 possibly.
Pittman really bounces back from the 15-yard penalty, makes a fantastic tackle there. He does exactly what you want your defensive tackle to do. He takes on the block, but he's still able to keep that offensive lineman, Gil, off of his body and at arm's distance. It allows him to scrape down the line of scrimmage and plug the hole. He did a fantastic job right there. Textbook. It's actually a loss of 1.
2nd and 10 at the 11. You see the man in motion. And Griffin. And he is sacked. And there on the stop and coming in there and getting the nice tackle was Jeffrey Lawson, the big senior. And also there was Garrett Pierce. They had set up like the jump pass.
They did, Gil, and you've seen Colquitt run this a couple times where they've ran Seagraves up a couple steps to fake like it's a quarterback sneak and then throw the pass, but nothing doing there. Plugging the hole there was Jeffrey Lawson, the senior, and you mentioned it, free safety Garrett Pierce came in and made a nice play too. Pierce has been all over the place. We see now why Coach Probst has been so impressed with the young man. He said he's really come on as of late. Had his best game last week against Camden, having another great one tonight.
The Packers snuff out a play made famous by Tim Tebow. Clemens, 3rd and 13. Clemens in the pocket, escapes to the edge, looks for a receiver, and it falls incomplete at the 1. That was Griffin down there, and defending on the play was Pittman. And we have a man down for the Packers of Colquitt County now getting up off his feet, and that was Gray.
Had a lot of time to throw. When you give Ty Clemens a chance to improvise, normally it doesn't work out for the defense, but here he throws the ball just behind Taj Griffin, and we've seen Clemens really look great in the passing game when he's rolling out to his right, Gil, and that's what that play was designed to do. When he was forced to come back to his left, he threw an inaccurate pass. And what we had after the snap there, John Gray, the middle linebacker, got up slow, and it looked like Travis Fair, the right guard, got poked in the eye from McEachern. Either way, they're going to have to try a field goal here. Great job tightening up by the Colquitt defense down inside the red zone.
Dennis Dominguez will attempt a 29-yarder out of the hold of Clemens. The snap, the kick is up, and it is perfecto. A 29-yarder by Dominguez, and that brings the Indians within 4, 17-13. 7:54 to go in the third, and we have a good one here at Powder Springs. Back here at Cantrell Stadium, a 17-13 ball game, 7:54 in the third. John Nelson.
Thank you, GT. Let's go into the Wayback Machine and kind of remind folks what Colquitt County has been chasing on the road. Take you back to the semifinals last year in Grayson, and you want to talk about Nick Schusler. Schusler ends up finding Marcus Lindquist, and he throws a bit of a slider low and away, the only place that Lindquist could find it. They were down 31-28 at the time. Then you get Cole Seagraves trying to go for the Hail Mary at the end. As time has expired, it falls incomplete. Gil, what is it they tell you when there's a pass in the air in the end zone?
Knock it down.
Knock it down. 35-31, the final and the semifinals. You see the celebration there, and that was the first step for Grayson to get that championship. But as you guys know, Colquitt County wants to get back there desperately, back upstairs.
Gil, I talked to a couple Colquitt fans down on the sideline, had some time to kill as they made the bus ride up here. They did not even want me to talk about that Grayson game. They have blocked it out from their memory completely because there were two big-time pass interference calls right before that Lindquist touchdown that led to them losing that football game. Looked like they had that one sewn up. They wanted a chance to play Walton in the state championship game, and they weren't able to. So 3 consecutive years in the semifinals. They did make it to the 2010 championship where they got beat by Brookwood. They're looking to go all the way this year.
All right, our scoring drive brought to you by TCSG. Learn more, earn more. 6 plays, 75 yards. The elapsed time, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Capped by the 29-yard field goal by Dominguez. And right now, we have a 17-13 ball game in favor of the men from Moultrie, 7:54 in the third.
Yeah, you know Coach Probst was unhappy about the 53-yard run that they gave up to Griffin, but they really tightened up to maintain the lead in this football game. Their offense has not done much wrong, but they had to punt for the first time in this football game on their previous possession.
Seagraves out of the shotgun, the fake give, and then the dump off to Saheem King. Stumbles and bumbles his way close to midfield. And that's a first down, Colquitt County. Pendleton on the stop.
And Gil, I love to watch this Colquitt team because it looks like where they're located on the field dictates their playbook. They ran that exact same play earlier in the game from the exact same spot on the field. It yielded better results. Coach Hockman wanted to tighten up on those screen passes. He tightened up a little bit better than he did before, but it still yielded a Colquitt first down.
That's King. Over midfield and into McEachern territory at about the 47-yard line. Mac Billingsley on the stop.
Billingsley does another great job. He's having a great job at doing a great job tonight at defensive end. 6'3", 250 pounds. He's doing a great job. One thing they're doing with him, Gil, is a lot of times the defensive end's job is just to stay home and contain. They're allowing him to pinch down the line and really pin his ears back and be aggressive in certain formations when he sees them. He's got the go-ahead to pinch down the line, and he's doing a great job. And we see
a big injury. That's Octavius Jackson, the 6'6", 290-pound senior headed to Florida. And if he goes out for an extended period of time, that's a big loss. No pun intended.
No, it is. They'll have to bring in the junior, much smaller in stature, tall, 6'3", but only 190. They'll have to bring in number 63 to take his place. You nailed it, Gil. That's a huge loss.
Brendan Cope will replace him, 2nd and 6 at the 47. 17-13, 7:13 to go here in the third quarter. The Indians fake blitz, and Seagraves will take it himself. Get over the 45, closer down to about the 43-yard line. On the stop was Glenn Frazier, the 5'10", 205 junior.
Gil, here comes that heavy package on third down and a long two. You're going to see Pittman and Gray both check in, the defensive tackle and the middle linebacker in that heavy package. Normally when they do this, and if there's not a back in the backfield, a traditional back, this will be a quarterback sneak.
3rd and short on the jumbo look. Seagraves is stood up, and he did not get the first down. And great recognition by the Indians' defensive plan inspired right now. Christian Wade was over there.
Gil, I knew what the play was, and so did the defense for McEachern. And there's another flag after the play and another injured player. And Gil, we saw John Gray go down as McEachern was driving the ball earlier. He's down again as an offensive player, and he's slow to get up.
Boy, I'll tell you what, they just lost. They lost Octavius Jackson, and you do not want to lose your leader on defense. That's part of that jumbo package right now in John Gray.
Bobby Hill, Gil, is down there talking a lot of trash around the football, and both teams are having a really hard time keeping their composure. They're going to call a penalty on Colquitt, personal foul. So not only, this is literally, Gil, insult to injury. You've lost Octavius Jackson. Now you've lost maybe your second best player as far as big guys are concerned in John Gray. We'll see if he can come back.
He's in a lot of pain.
And you got a couple of your players here in the second half really losing their composure.
They're looking at that knee. And Gray, a 4-year veteran, one of the main leaders on Coach Pro. When Coach Pro sets to come out and take a look at you, you know it's serious.
Absolutely. He absolutely loves this kid. When we talked to him this week about his defense, he just went on and on and on about John Gray. He was out for the beginning of the season, Gil, with a broken hand, and he still came back and led the team in tackles despite missing a few games. He said he is a true throwback guy, a true football player, and he's out there checking on his tough middle linebacker, and he is not being able to put a whole lot of weight on that right leg.
That right leg, no. Helped off by
Third down.
helped off by the training staff at outstanding training staff at Colquitt County.
That's good sight, Gil. He's able to put just a little bit of weight on it.
But you lose Octavius Jackson, and then you lose Gray. Penalty. We'll march it off against Colquitt County.
Here's what's so big about that penalty. It was fourth down. It was going to be fourth down and about 2 or 3 yards to go inside McEachern territory. A down and distance where Coach Probst may have opted to go for it. Now with the 15-yard penalty, you're backed up in your own territory again, and you have to punt. You don't have a choice. That's how mistakes cost you right there in a big-time football game.
Yost will punt it at his own 31. And it'll take a Packer roll and nestle right at the 21-yard line where the Indians will take over 1st and 10. You know, we couldn't do it without all you fans. Please help us continue these great games by texting GPB to 85944 to donate $10. Simple, easy, makes you feel good, doesn't it? To support something great going on in your neighborhood and in your state. Please help us continue these wonderful games. Remember to reply yes, confirm your donation. Standard data and text message rates apply. One-time charge of $10 will be added to your phone bill. Support these great games, these great kids, these great communities, these great schools. We here at GPB say thank you. Penalties right now. You see for Colquitt County in the first half, they were 1 for 15. Right now in the third quarter, 3 for 35 yards straight.
Yep, 2 of those are of the personal foul variety, Gil, and they're so costly in these highly contested games. And it's do or die time, and here comes another flag on the field. One thing I do see across on the opposite sideline, Gil, is Coach Probst personally has the entire offensive unit gathered around the bench. I have no idea what he's saying.
Dead ball. Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
If it was me, Gil, I would try to make sure that my team is still playing with intensity, but finding that balance between poise and intensity where you're not losing your cool and costing your team in a crucial situation.
Right, and keep in mind the Packers are 8-2 on the road. The Road Warriors. On the edge is Sherman. Coming up and making a great tackle was Pittman. He was dragged by Sherman over the 25 up to about the 26-yard line. Michael Sutton was over there too on the stop. 5:38 and counting down.
Gil, as long as the running game is working, whether it's from a tailback or the quarterback, I look for Coach Hockman to give a heavy dose of the run game right now. as his offense is able to move the ball and his defense has made those adjustments that we talked about in the locker room. They have been helped a little bit with penalties, but right now, Coach Hockman, he already said he was comfortable coming out at just down 7. He's tightened up that lead that Colquitt has by kicking a field goal earlier, and his offense right now is moving the ball. This is a big down, though, for the Colquitt defense. It's 3rd down and 4. If they can somehow come up with a stop and get that talented offense back on the field,
a gain of 1
have a chance.
By Sherman. John Gray back in this football game. He's man in the middle right now. 17-13. The Indians facing a 3rd and 4. That's Sherman on the edge. And he got close to first down yardage. On the stop was Tafari Wright. And Brandon Key was in the neighborhood as well. 4:44.
Brandon Key does a great job right here coming from his far linebacker position. And look at John Gray there. He just walked off the field. He barely put any weight on his right leg, and he just made a huge tackle on 3rd down and short, but it was not enough as they pick up the first down. And here you see Pittman just throw the quarterback to the ground.
And that was Ty Griffin. And there's that man again. That Jameis Pittman was on the stop. And also there was Jawan Delaney. And
Jawan Delaney.
Jawan Delaney on the stop. So they will go to a hurry up. The Indians, you see Griffin's numbers versus the Colquitt team. Huge disparity there, 125 to 50.
A lot of that on that 53-yard run that set the field goal up on their previous possession.
2nd and 10 at the 33, 4:12 and counting down, 17-13 Packers. And on the edge is Griffin, and he gets nothing. And John Gray was there on the stop. Also Bull Barge in the neighborhood. Bull Barge, 5'10", 210-pound sophomore. First time we've called his name tonight.
Yeah, he's actually the backup middle linebacker. Sometimes you'll see him on the field with John Gray. He made a fantastic tackle on that play, probably on the most electrifying player on the field tonight, and that's one thing McEachern has done, Gil. They have held Taj Griffin in check so far tonight.
3rd and 10 at the 32. Rolling out and under pressure. And it was Clemens, and he is sacked. And a loss, a huge loss.
This was the first time they've really got pressure on the quarterback so far tonight. You had 2 guys coming in, and you see Clemens try to split the difference there, but it was Jemias Pittman and Jeffrey Lawson coming there to get a piece of him.
A loss of 8. That'll bring up a punting situation. Chase Jones will stand at his own 10. And back to receive is O'Shea Williams. They take it on the fly and just fall there. And a punt of 34 yards. So the Packers will take over in the 1st and 10. John Nelson.
GT, let's start looking at some finals when it comes to 6A. Let's look at the upper left bracket. We know one of the teams that's advanced. It is Grayson. Grayson defeating Wheeler 49-9. And right now, North Gwinnett and Johns Creek still going at it. Also, Lowndes and Marietta, Lovejoy having no problem with Tri-Cities. Hughes gets their first win in school history, winning 37-3. All their finals on the board. Ware County, Burke County, Dalton, and Mary Persons winners tonight. Back upstairs.
Saheem King off the handoff from Seagraves. Gets close to midfield. Mac Billingsley among those on the stop. Lucky Daniels in there too. Gain of a couple.
You know, the Colquitt defense really stepped up on that last possession by McEachern to really put their team with good field position. This plays right into Colquitt's hands with a 4-point lead. They have their whole playbook available to them and so many weapons.
2nd and 5 at the 49. 2:13 to go in the 3rd. Seagraves out of the shotgun. And has a receiver there, and that's complete. That's Todd Boyd. He has space, and he could go to the hoop. Touchdown! Colquitt County, no flags, 49 yards. Touchdown replay brought to you by our good friends at TCSG. Learn more, earn more. Trey, what did we see?
This is what we talked about in our keys, Gil. This is Cole Seagraves finding the open grass, going through his progressions. That was a designed flare route out to Seagraves' left, but it was covered by Ramoy Parsons. He has to improvise. He makes the right read. It's Boyd down the sideline. He almost scored on a similar play early in the game. This time he gets into the end zone. Watch this play. He looks to his left. It's covered. He comes back. He has pressure in his face. He makes a beautiful throw, and then it's those yards after the catch that we talked about earlier, and Boyd finds his way into the end zone. He has been the recipient of probably the two biggest plays from scrimmage they've had tonight. One a touchdown, one not.
Great call, Trey. The Yak, yards after catch, and he's in hot pursuit and gets the end zone right there. Frazier in hot pursuit, and then you saw the touchdown. 49 yards to Todd Boyd. And the scoring drive, the elapsed time, 49 seconds. 2 plays, 57 yards. TCSG, learn more, earn more. 1:57 to go in the third, and the Packers out in front, 24-13. Big play, Trey. Huge play.
And for the first time tonight, Colquitt has a 2-possession lead over McEachern. That's why that play was so huge. The play of their defense to hold McEachern to a field goal on their opening possession and then stop them outright on their second possession and set up that great field position that we talked about. And we talked about all those weapons. When you have to guard Bobby Hill and John Boatwright and Malik Lewis and all those guys, Saheem King, somebody is going to find their way open. Seagraves made the right call right there. Seagraves having a phenomenal game tonight.
This is a dangerous, dangerous football team as we sit coming in 8-2 on the road. Road Warriors with an opportunity right now to go 9-2, and Seagraves 17 of 20, Trey, approaching 3 bills. 297 to be right now. The short kick, fumbled, and fallen on by McEachern Indian, and that had disaster, and Parham was on it. So they will take over 1st and 10, trailing 24-13 as Trey said, down 2 possessions. This Sunday night, 7:30, another brand new show on Georgia Outdoors. Sharon Collins takes us to Little St. Simons Island to show you what the Georgia coast has to offer. Stunning beauty and scenery. And you might even learn a thing or two about the great state of Georgia. Tune in for the premiere of Little St. Simons on Georgia Outdoors this Sunday, November 18th at 7:30, right before nature, only on GPB. Gil Tyree along with Trey McDaniel, John Nelson, and our outstanding crew here at GPB. 24-13 in the third. Colquitt County with the lead. And that was Clemens. Take a look, Trey.
This is just that read option. And as soon as the defensive tackle jumps the back, he'll pull the ball out of his belly and take it himself. You've seen a very conservative approach from the McEachern offense as it winds down near the end of the third quarter. You're down by 2 possessions. They've got to get some of their weapons, the football, in the passing game. And as I say that, Taj Griffin actually checks out of the game. He's the guy I'm alluding to. I think he needs to get in the game and get the football in open space.
And it was Clemens, and they got okay out in space after the fake give to Sherman, and we have a man down. And down looks like Travis Fair.
There you see Chris Oke, nice effort. Ball goes on the ground. They're going to say his knee was down. I believe they were right. All the defenders for Colquitt jumped up and started signaling like they had the ball. That's what they're taught to do by their defensive coach. But they'll maintain possession.
Johnny Ward among those there.
Travis Fair having a rough night, Gil. He was just slow getting up. He got poked in the eye earlier in the game, but he stays in.
1st and 10, and Clemens on the edge. Ward in pursuit. And the pass is complete, close to 1st down yardage. And that reception brought in was Trey Scott, who scored a touchdown here tonight, and we have a flag on the play. And that'll be a 1st down for McEachern.
Yeah, good call, Gil. And far away from the football, way down near the 25-30 yard line, you had man-to-man coverage, and they throw a flag. Normally that is a defensive holding. which is a penalty and an automatic first down. But they picked up the first down. Well, they came close to picking up the first down. They
were
probably
very close.
Yeah, they'll be about a yard short, so they'll probably take the penalty, which will give them the automatic first down. Instead of it being 2nd and 1, it'll be 1st and 10. There won't be a huge gain in field position.
And you see time on the clock. That's Kyle Hockman, coach of McEacher. And absolutely what Trey had talked about, the call by the referees. Trey, what did we see?
Well, all 3 times tonight that Ty Clemens has rolled out to his right, he's thrown the ball to Trey Scott, including the early touchdown that they scored. So they want to roll him out to the right. They do not want him taking a conventional drop. They know with his wheels that if the play breaks down, he can improvise and pick up the first down with his legs. That's why they're moving the pocket out to the right. But every time he's rolled out, Trey Scott has been his intended receiver.
Garrett Pierce on the stop, 3 receptions, 46 yards for Scott, including the touchdown. And the referees are going back, Trey.
Got a hold on the defense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Yardage will result in a first down.
They went the wrong way, Gil.
They went the wrong way. Now they're going the right way. You see the penalties right now. The Packers were 5 for 55, and the Indians of McEachern with 6 for 30.
So it's a net gain of 1 yard of field position, but instead of 2nd and 1, it's 1st down and 10.
Under a minute, 24-13. The Packers from Moultrie out in front, and the clock continues to wind down. Clemens with Sherman behind him. And that's Sherman on the edge and straight ahead. 25, 20. Down to the Colquitt 15. And on the stop for Colquitt County was Garrett Pierce as they get into the 2nd level, a gain of 31.
And that's what I want to talk about, Gil, the 2nd level. You see Garrett Pierce there, he's trailing the play. And the reason why there's nobody in the middle of the field is because Garrett Pierce is the free safety. And when he gets sucked into the middle of the field, Sherman then bounces it outside and he gets caught flat-footed, and that's why there's open space down the middle of the field. So as soon as I predict that Coach Hockman needs to start airing it out to pick up chunks of yardage, he's actually getting it done in the ground game as he has so effectively tonight. And here we see the pistol with Clemens as quarterback.
Sherman 6 carries for 54 yards. That's Clemens on the edge, and he gets pushed out at about the 6-yard line. Making the stop over there was Johnny Ward, and Brandon Key was there as well. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score 24-13 as Trey McDaniel tells you every Friday night, hold up those 4 fingers. They got them up here in Powder Springs. The lead by Colquitt County is 11. We'll be right back heading to the 4th. Back here at Cantrell Stadium, 24-21. It's become a good one. Okay, we got a good game, huh?
As soon as McEachern's back was against the wall, down 11, they got the drive right when they needed it. It's been the Ty Griffin show on the ground. Coach Hockman has shown a tremendous amount of confidence in his senior quarterback. You see the TCSG scoring drive there, learn more, earn more. 7 plays, 70 yards, 2:33 time elapsed. 17 carries, 129 yards, and a touchdown. 31 yards receiving as well, and 12 yards in the passing game, getting it done in a lot of different ways, and that's kind of what we expected coming into the game, Gil. Very complex offense on both sides for both teams, really. Been very exciting to watch. This is exactly what we expected. If you thought it was a number 1 seed versus a number 4 seed and you can just go to bed early, think again. These are 2 of the best teams in the state of Georgia.
And of course, our outstanding producer, Kevin Gerke, we call him G-Money. We set this game up.
I'll stop calling him that then.
Call him G-Money, that's what he loves, G-Money. G-Money. Next Friday, we continue our live and exclusive coverage of high school football, the playoffs on the road to the Dome. We have a special kickoff at 7:30 for the Thanksgiving holiday, so tune in for some exciting the pregame show, followed by week 2 of the playoffs. We are live at 7:30. Check gpb.org, and your local listings will start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And also you can follow us on gpb.org. 11:25 in the fourth, 24-21. See the men in motion for Colquitt County. And rolling out to the right, then throwing back left is Seagraves, and the pass was completed to Hill, but it was sniffed out by that outstanding McEachern defense led by Mike Sherman.
Gil, this is literally the first time tonight that Bobby Hill has been hemmed in. They tried to run that little tunnel screen again, but there was no way they were going to pull it off. McEachern's defense made a lot of adjustments in the locker room. They are now able to predict what's going on, and they've run a quarterback sneak out of this possession every single time, Gil. First time they're throwing it.
Keyshawn Taylor among them to the near side, and the pass is complete to Hill for a first down and more at the 40-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Darius Thompson.
Beautiful throw by Seagraves, Gil. That'll put him over 300 yards for the game. Drops it right between the corner and the safety. Doesn't get any better than that. Big time first down and a great throw by Seagraves, who's having a phenomenal game in the passing game.
A gain of 34. The empty look right now. 1st and 10 at the 41. That's King on the screen. He got possibly one, maybe two. Forward progress will take him to about the 43. And Justin Pendleton on the stop for the Indians.
Gil, I love what Colquitt's doing right now. This play right here didn't yield much, but they're breaking out of some of their tendencies. They've ran quarterback sneak out of that formation every time tonight until the last two plays, and they've gone to the air. It's caught McEachern off guard a little bit. They got a lot in their arsenal, and they're throwing it at McEachern right now.
Boyd and Woods to the far side, Taylor and Hill to the near, and they find Hill in space in McEachern territory at the 30, pushed out and down at about the 27. 29-yard gain, first down, Colquitt County. The answer.
You get a great look right there at the senior quarterback having maybe the game of his life, at least in the passing game, on the big stage here in the playoffs. Cole Seagraves really stepping up. He has found his stride the last couple of weeks, and he's showing off tonight.
Frazier on the stop. That's Boatwright turning the corner with room. Spins his way over the 15, close to the 10, down to about the 11. Parham on the stop. Another first down for the Pack.
Kel Parham has been a little bit busier than I think Coach Hogman would like him to be. He's saved 4 touchdowns so far tonight, making tackles far down the field. Here he has to come up from free safety again.
1st and 10 at the 13. And looking for the end zone. Does he get it? Was Boatwright. He's knocked down at about the 1. Frazier on the stop.
Gil, we spotlighted him before. Watch number 61. You can get him in your screen here. There he is, leading the way. Travis Register, the state championship wrestler, 225-pound guy, also plays a lot on that defensive end. The team captain really leading the way on everything to the left that goes off tackle.
1st and goal at the 2, a full house backfield looking for the end zone and smelling it. Is he in for the touchdown? Do we signal it yet? Yes. Touchdown, Colquitt County. And getting up underneath that pile is Boatwright. His 2nd touchdown of the day, and that's a 2-yard run.
Nothing fancy here, Gil. You run John Gray up in the middle linebacker who went down injured. He just leads the way, along with number 62, the center, Dalton Dillon, who we've talked about already tonight, Gil, playing injured and playing very well. The leader of that offensive line, and that was an offensive lineman possession right there, along with the arm of Cole Seagraves.
Bannister on for the extra point. The kick is up. It is good. No good. It is no good. So that'll make it 30-21. Let's take a break with the score. 30-21, 9:17 left in this football game. A happy Boatwright. Touchdown for Colquitt County, but they failed to negotiate on the extra point. We'll be right back.
Football Fridays in Georgia on GPB is made possible in part by Regions Bank. It's time to expect more. Georgia's Electric Membership Corporation, lighting the way.
Technical College System of Georgia, learn more, earn more, and by viewers like you, thank you.
We are back here at Cantrell Stadium. You see the scoring drive and, of course, capped by the touchdown, the second of the night by John Boatwright. 8 plays, 80 yards, the elapsed time, 1:58. Brought to you by TCSG, learn more, earn more. Gil Tyree, along with Trey McDaniel. And, of course, we welcome you to our live and exclusive coverage of Football Fridays here in Georgia, the playoffs. And, of course, next week, you got to check gpb.org to find out where we're going to be. But we got a good one here tonight.
We sure do. This is what we expected, Gil. Colquitt really bounced back. McEachern bounced back to score to begin the fourth quarter, and then Colquitt really answers back, Gil. The key right now is that despite the missed PAT, Colquitt still has a 2-possession lead. McEachern desperately needed to get some points here on this drive. They'll take anything, field goal, touchdown, whatever it is. They've got a very competent field goal kicker. Dennis Dominguez has already made 2 so far tonight, but they're going to start first down and 10, pinned down in their own territory near the 30-yard line. But they've got to bounce back. So far tonight, it's been the running game. I think they've got to get the ball in the hands of Taj Griffin. Number 7, he electrified us in the second week of the season against Walton, scoring a really impressive touchdown here on the near side. And I think they need to try to find a way to get him the ball. I know he's just a sophomore, and he's prone to having tackles for loss because he tries to do a little bit too much with the ball, but he's by far their most dangerous player.
Cole Seagraves having a big night right now. You see 357, and McEachern, their numbers at the bottom of your screen, 99. And, of course, a pooch kick by Bannister, taken by one of the up men in Parham. So first and 10 for the Indians. They'll have to negotiate that at their own 31 with the empty look. And Ty Griffin, your quarterback right now, 9-11. They trail by 9, the Indians. The fake give to Clemens, and that's Ty Griffin. And we have a flag on the play as he gets close to the 45-yard line, but they'll bring it back. And normally in that situation, Trey, it's a hold.
Yep, you're exactly right. It's in that spot, and if it is, it's unfortunate because left tackle number 77. Actually, it's a penalty on. They're going to call the penalty on Colquitt.
Face mask.
Watch number 77 here pull. That's the big fella right there, just bulldozing his way. How would you like to be running behind that? You got to feel nice and safe and cozy running behind that big fella. 6'3", 275. Coach Hockman says number 77, by the time it's all said and done, will be the best offensive lineman he's ever coached. He told us on the phone Thursday. We'll see him playing on TV.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, 15 yards from the end of the line, first down.
And you're looking at Chima Adoga, 6'4", approaching 3 bills and a sophomore. And you're right. Before he leaves here, everybody's going to know about him.
The cupboard here at McEachern is anything but bare, Gil. They've got some real talent coming back.
It's Ty Griffin turning the corner. Gets over the 30 of Colquitt County, close to the 25-yard line. And it's right into your living room. O'Shea Williams among those on the stop.
Yeah, big-time blocking there on the offensive line. Everybody getting into the action. Very, very impressed with the running of the football by Ty Griffin. He's really gotten it done so far tonight. Really carried the rock, carried the load here. 154 yards in the game, and so far has had a monstrous second half.
First and 10 at the 27. That's Clemens in there now to Sherman. Running in between tackles, stood up and pushed back. And Tafari Wright was there on the stop. O'Shea Williams was among those there as well. 8:31 and counting down here in the fourth quarter. The Packers of Colquitt County with a 9-point lead at 30-21. Trey, who do you like tomorrow? College football. Got Georgia Southern, Tech, and Duke. And then on Sunday, you got the Falcons Battle of Birds against the Arizona Cardinals.
I think that Tech-Duke game is going to be a great game. I love what Coach Cutcliffe has done over there at that program. Love Coach Cutcliffe as a coach. And I think Tech's going to have all they can handle against Duke. Of course, Georgia should handle Georgia Southern pretty handily. And, of course, the Falcons going on the road to play Arizona.
That's Clemens. Outside, pursued by Gray, and we have a flag on the play. back.
Yeah, I think the flag is going to be on Trey Scott, the very talented tight end who's already caught a touchdown tonight. As soon as they threw the flag, he put his hands up on his helmet. He was very upset with himself for that hold right there. And they are.
The hold on Quentin Hampton. Get a look at Kyle Hockman, head coach. The Indians. Let's listen in on the call.
Number 9. Holding on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the flag. Remains second down.
You know, you talk about Georgia Tech, they're still alive in that Coastal Division.
That's unbelievable. I read that in the paper this week, that they still have an outside chance to win that. That's more of an indictment on the ACC, in my opinion. The ACC's really come a long way.
Direct snap to Ty Griffin, still on his feet.
Fallen a long way, I should say, from the days when they were a little top-heavy with Clemson and Virginia Tech and Miami. And they really had national championship contenders, but they've really fallen from that.
And of course, Tech, like you said, still alive, like we talked about, you know, Duke. They have to beat Duke tomorrow, and then Duke will have to beat Miami next week.
Gil, this is an interesting play on 3rd down and about a half a yard to go. Actually, they just changed it to 2nd down and short. They had to rectify that because the penalty allowed them to redo 1st down. And they're going to come out and take a measurement here. And as I mentioned before, Coach Hockman will be happy with points here. Of course, he would rather have a touchdown. He's got a very capable field goal kicker in Dominguez, who's knocked a couple through so far tonight. You know, he'd like to get the touchdown here and hopefully get another possession and have a field goal with a chance to win it. That's the order he would like to do it. Of course, his defense would have to get a stop in that scenario. And right now, his offense has set him up in a good position thanks to Ty Griffin's running.
That's Taj Griffin over the 15, down to the 10, possibly down to the 9. Jamal Phillips on the tackle.
And here's a good look at Taj Griffin. Again, he shows that extra gear. Sometimes he tries to do a little bit too much with the football, but this is a similar place on the field where we saw him rip off an electrifying run against Walton in our doubleheader that we did here, the Battle of the Big Chicken in week 2. And I like them getting him the football here in a clutch situation. He's an extremely talented guy.
2nd and short, Clemens a fake give to Griffin. Look in the end zone, has a receiver, and it falls incomplete. The intended receiver, it looked like he had Malik Williams in the back of the end zone, and defending on the play for the Colquitt County Packers was Jamal Phillips.
Hits
incomplete.
Him right in the face. It was decent coverage by John Ward. And we've seen this earlier. They roll Clemens out, but he's much more successful rolling out to his right. He only rolled out to his left once tonight and threw an inaccurate pass. There was a very accurate pass, and there's Johnny Ward, young man going to South Florida on the coverage.
Ty Griffin. Straight ahead. Tim Sanders on the stop. 6:22 and counting down. 30-21. The Packers out in front.
Huge play forthcoming, Gil.
Okay.
4th down, 2 yards to go. You need 2 scores. If you get no points here, the game is probably over.
Right.
You've got to get points here. If they go for it here legitimately and don't get it, Hockman's going to be questioned. Let's see if they try to draw him off.
Ty Griffin will keep it himself. And he has stood up and he's pushed back. There was Brandon Key to close up the middle. Also over there, and a great stop by the defense of Colquitt County.
They're giving him forward progress, Gil, to the 7-yard line. It's exactly where he needed to get for the 1st down. I believe they're going to have to get a measurement right here.
Let's see.
Man, on 4th down and
close,
short,
Trey.
down 2 possessions, clock winding down, under 6 minutes to go here. I don't know that I would have gone for it right there, but That's the play that they ran on the 2-point conversion earlier, and it's been a very strong play for them in their offensive arsenal so far tonight, so I can't question the coach for that, but they're going to have to bring the chain gang out. This measurement right here has a huge impact in the football game.
Tell us how big.
If you did not make it, you do, on a plus side, the silver lining is you pin Colquitt deep down near your own end zone to try to get the ball back with a 3-and-out possibly by your defense. But I would have taken the points there personally. This is a big deal here. And the defense already running off the field for Colquitt. They think they know how this is going to turn out. Oh, and they got it, Gil. And the crowd goes wild, Gil. The McEachern faithful and the team. Coach Hockman looks like an absolute genius right there. You want to talk about riverboat gamblers? Coach Probst has that reputation. Hockman tonight is earning himself a reputation as the riverboat gambler. Big time play. Rolls the dice, goes for a 2-point conversion on the last touchdown. Rolls the dice here. He wants the touchdown, Gil. No field goals here. He wants to get 7.
1st and goal. That spot was very critical, Trey. Huge.
Clemens at quarterback.
Clemens at quarterback, the man in motion, Taj Griffin. Clemens under pressure, looking for a receiver in the end zone. Boyd was over there. The pass is incomplete. Defending on the play was Phillips. That'll bring up 2nd and 10. 5:39 to go.
Gil, Bull Barge, the backup middle linebacker who's played a lot at the same time as starting middle linebacker John Gray, really forced the pressure here. This is that play designed to roll out to the right for Clemens. He has to improvise and roll out to his left. He motions Malik Williams to stop and go back toward the pylon, but because he's backpedaling, he's unable to get enough oomph on the football to get it out there. So good pressure there by Bull Barge.
Right to the far side. And Clemens to the near side. Ty Griffin, your quarterback. Clemens in motion. Ty Griffin will keep it after the fake handoff down to about the 4. A ton of tacklers there wearing black and gold. Looked like a rugby scrum.
Yeah, that was a good old-fashioned scrum. You saw the big heavies in there on the offensive side try to push Ty Griffin for a couple extra yards, if not into the end zone. But that big, huge defensive line that we keep talking about for Colquitt really does a great job there of not yielding. 3rd down and goal, huge play, Gil. You got to imagine they'll go for it on 4th if they went for it earlier in case they don't get it.
And that's Ty Griffin. He'll call his own number, and he's in. Touchdown, McEachern. Great call, Trey, by Kyle Hockman.
Pays off in a major way. Here's your TCSG touchdown replay. Learn more, earn more. Same play they scored the 2-point conversion on earlier. Great second effort there by Griffin, and he has been, without a doubt, Gil, the workhorse in this offense. They missed him so bad when he went down against Grayson, and it's such a luxury for this team to have him back. He has carried this team on his back tonight.
Dominguez on the extra point out of the hold of Clemens. It is good. 30-28. 5:02 in regulation. 11 plays, 79 yards. The elapsed time, John Nelson. Wow.
That's the first wow of the evening. Let's see if we can give you another couple of wows. Let's look at the upper right bracket here in 6A, and we're starting to fill in some of the holes. Camden challenged early, wins against Hillgrove 52-17. Waiting to hear who they'll play next. They'll host either Newton or East Coweta. Norcross shuts out Chattahoochee 34-0. They will get South Gwinnett, who beat Milton tonight 21-20. Other winners, Lovejoy, no problems. Lowndes loses to Marietta 30-27 after a big comeback there by the Lowndes team and Randy McPherson, so they drive a long way. They're going to have to drive a long way back. The marquee matchup looks like in 6A next week, Grayson and North Gwinnett. Grayson, no problems with Wheeler. North Gwinnett, no problems with Johns Creek. Once again, salute to Hughes for their first playoff win ever. They'll play North Cobb, who knocked off Valdosta tonight. So Region 1 6A guys having some problems in the opening night of the playoffs.
Wow, that's another one, John. I gave you another wow. Boy, oh boy, Trey is putting together his bracket up here. You see the scoring drive. Brought to you by TCSG. Learn more, earn more. 11 plays, 79 yards. The elapsed time, 4:09. Capped by the touchdown from Ty Griffin, 30-28.
Gil, Colquitt carrying the torch right now for Region 1 6A. Right now, if somehow they can't hang on to this 2-point advantage and they lose this football game, Camden would be the lone representative out of the toughest region in the state to move on to the second round. If you would have told me that last week, me and John Nelson and you would have thought that you were crazy.
But that's what happens when you beat up on everybody. You beat up on everybody in your region, and you ain't got nothing left in the postseason.
That's a great point, Gil. So, Gil, just to kind of reset where we're at, because Hockman rolls the dice there, they're able to punch in the touchdown by virtue of going for it on 2 before on the previous touchdown in having success there. You're only down by 2. You've got a field goal kicker who's already made a couple field goals tonight. But none of that matters unless your defense can stop Colquitt right here.
GPB Sports, there's an app for all that. Up-to-minute scores, full season schedules, sports news, rankings, and so much more. It's a perfect way to keep up with all your favorite teams. Georgia high school teams as well for the entire season. Download the GPB Sports Football app on your iPhone or iPad today. And the best part, it's free. Download it now and enjoy. That's Zaheem King getting a first down. 4:50 to go in regulation. Each team right now with 3 timeouts on both sides. 3 for Colquitt County and 3 for McEachern.
And Gil, you wouldn't think it. 5'8", 160-pound sophomore Zaheem King has actually been getting it done tonight between the tackles.
Yes.
160-pound guy, 8 carries, 47 yards.
A gain of 9, make it 2nd and short at the 41. Out of the shotgun is Seagraves, turning the corner and getting nowhere and possibly losing a couple was John Boatwright. And on the stop was Famarua.
The defensive ends tonight for McEachern, I believe, have been the bright spot along with the touchdown-saving tackles by Kel Parham. But Mackenzie Billingsley and Henry Famura have been really stepping up. And you could tell how much Coach Hockman thought of his defensive ends when talking to him. Just think about this, Gil. 11 juniors starting on defense for McEachern. Only 1 senior. These guys are going to be back next year, and they're doing a great job here in crunch time. That's a huge 3rd down play. It is going to be maybe another measurement here to find out if they got the first down. This will be awesome to find out if Coach Probst would go for it, pinned back here inside Colquitt territory.
The nice tackle by Pendleton on King.
No punt team coming on.
Now the jumbo package coming in for Colquitt County.
Pittman and
John Gray and Pittman, the big fellas.
It's going to be a sneak here if they run it.
4th and 1.
No, they got a flag. Probst just ran out on the field in disgust.
And the way they're looking, it's against McEachern. Trey McDaniel. My, oh my.
That's the 2nd time tonight, Gil.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty. The result, first down.
That is big.
That's a killer, Gil. Your defense did a phenomenal job right there of hemming in an offense with a lot of weapons in crunch time, trying to get their offense the football back. It's the 2nd time that Colquitt's been able to draw them offside on a 4th down and short tonight.
And that's a first down, a big one for the Packers. High snap. And the fake give. And Seagraves will keep it on the edge, gets over the 45, close to midfield. Glenn Frazier on the stop. And the clock continues to tick down. 2:47, 2:46 to go in regulation.
Gil, this is when, if you're Coach Hockman, you start to think about burning those timeouts. And it's also, if you're Coach Probst, the time where you start to see that light at the end of the tunnel. I don't look for Colquitt County to do anything fancy on offense here. It's going to be a heavy dose, in my opinion, of Cole Seagraves carrying the ball personally.
Timeout situation. The Packers have 2. McEachern with 3. 30-28. A 2-point lead from the men of Moultrie. Straight ahead. Another first down, and that's Zaheem King. And McEachern is going to take a timeout.
Yeah, they're going to have to start calling their timeout. They're going to reset the clock here with the first down, but with 2 minutes to go, you got to start burning those timeouts.
Let's take a look at the resumes. Trey first from Colquitt County.
Yeah, 3 straight semifinal appearances, all since Rush Probst took that program over, reached the championship game in 2010 despite the tough record because of that region. They lost to Brookwood. They did win under head coach Jim Hughes a state championship in 1994. 4 region titles, but none since 1999.
Back to action. And King stumbling and bumbling and carrying people. That is a first down for the Packers. Christian Wade on the stop. You've got to be impressed by Saheem King.
I am, Gil. 160-pound guy. Came into the game with only 144 yards rushing, 63 tonight. That's almost half of what he's gained all year coming into this football game.
And a gain of 13 on that play, and that's their first down. First and 10. You see the first downs. McEachern and Colquitt County. 1:22 to go. That's King, but he is brought down by Famarua, Henry Famarua. And we've called his number and name a lot here tonight.
We certainly have.
No gain.
Coming in from his defensive end position, scraping down the line again. Him and Mackenzie Billingsley have been given carte blanche, Gil, to go straight down the line and pinch and try to cut off those running lanes, and they've done a good job tonight. But all of a sudden, 1:18 to go, down by 2. No way to get that game-winning field goal unless your offense gets the ball back, and Coach Rush Probst is going to do everything in his power to see that that doesn't happen. Right now, they're going to keep running Saheem King, if I'm Coach Probst, right up the middle through one of those 2 A gaps, because right now on this possession, McEachern has been unable to stop that.
All right, earlier, and I want to alert our producer, Russ Aaron, we had talked about the Colquitt resume. Let's talk about the McEachern resume and how they got here in terms of what they've been able to do. We talked about it up top. They reeled off 8 straight after the 2 losses to start the season against Grayson and Walton.
Well, what a great storied program they have up here in Powder Springs. Region championship in 2012. They also won in 2009, 2010 as well. Hillgrove won it last year. 3rd region title in 4 years. 2010, first second round appearance since 99. They've won 9 or more games. Look at this, Gil. 1985 through 1999. Most of that because of the very impressive coaching resume for one Jimmy Dorsey, who's always here around the program. He built this program to 1966 and won. They have only, though, made Gil 1 appearance in the state championship game. That was in 99. There's Famura again.
And there was King again for no gain. Or correct me, that was both right.
Deja vu, Gil.
Right.
King and Famura. It's exactly what the doctor ordered. And as I said, Gil, Coach Hockman knows what Coach Probst is going to do. He's going to run Saheem King until they stop him. So he sends his linebackers up to plug the hole. And again, he pinches his defensive end. They do a good job there. Big 3rd down play upcoming. Only 1 timeout now remaining for McEachern. Although the scoreboard says 2. This is their 2nd one that they've taken right here.
Did you know GPB has a Facebook page? Check us out and like us and be a part of the GPB sports family. See behind-the-scenes pictures and get info about the football games around the state. Like us and you will be in the know about all things high school sports here in the great state of Georgia. Just a reminder, high school playoffs on the road to the Dome will have a special early kickoff 7:30 after the Thanksgiving holiday. Next Friday, Trey McDaniel, yours truly, and our great outstanding crew at GPB. Check gpb.org for the game we'll be covering next week. And, of course, we'll start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern and 4:30 p.m. Pacific, and we'll also be on gpb.org.
That's right. Sit down in your favorite spot, make a leftover turkey sandwich, maybe some stuffing, a piece of pumpkin pie. Don't let John Nelson get a hold of the whipped cream, though. There won't be any left.
And the tryptophan will have set in.
There you go. Hopefully they won't be dozing off because of us. It'll be because of the turkey sandwich.
3rd and long for Colquitt County, leading by 2, 30-28. Seagraves rolling out and throws for the receiver, And up at about the 25-yard line, that was Boyd, and it falls incomplete. Parham defending on the play. So that'll bring up a 4th and long for the Packers.
After that first time out that Coach Hockman called on this possession, his defense has really stepped up since then. They've forced a 4th down, and this isn't the type of 4th down where Coach Probst needs to deliberate. Do I go for it? Do I not? If I make it, I can win the football game. You're talking about 4th and about 15, 16 yards here. You don't really have a choice. You gotta pooch kick it, or you could try a long field goal, and if you at least got it into the end zone, they'd start 1st and 10 from the 20, but they're going punt here.
You got an excellent punter in Tyler Yost, and he does quick pooch it. And it's going to go out and take a roll and deep into McEachern territory, and they'll start out about their own 2.
That is textbook.
39-yard punt by Yost.
That's textbook coffin corner deal. You couldn't have asked for a better punt in a more crucial situation. And we got a player down for Colquitt's, number 53.
That is Britt Jones. Britt Jones, and of course his daddy was on at halftime. He's a principal. Colquitt County was on at halftime with Mark Harmon. He's a long snapper too. Important guy, and they're taking a look at him right now. Let's go downstairs to John Nelson. Nelly, what up?
Thank you, GT. Let's go to the lower left bracket in 6A. We're starting to fill this one out a little bit. You see how it ends up. Once again, congratulations to Hughes for their first ever playoff win, 4th-year program. They get their first win tonight. They will be playing North Cobb, who beat Valdosta, so it's going to be a long ride home for Valdosta. Lassiter and Brookwood, last report we had, they were tied at 21 in the 4th quarter, so we could have one of those situations with a 1 and a 4, which really isn't a 1 versus a 4, making sure what's going on there. And Alpharetta and Mill Creek up 38-24. That's in the 4th quarter. A couple of other scores. Buford winning 41-27 over Cedar Grove. Tucker wins tonight. Peach County wins tonight as well. So, guys, we're getting some surprises out of the first round, not as many as we would think. Some 1s and some 4s going at it, which really aren't 1s and 4s, and some 2s and some 3s that are really competitive. The biggest upset on the board so far was really Westminster leading Pepperell up in Lindale in AA. But a lot of the teams and a lot of the favorites have made it through in the first round. Guys, your thoughts?
You know who's jumping up and down up here? His alma mater. Trey McDaniel, the Brookwood Broncos. Mark Hughes getting it done, huh?
Yeah. Well, we just got told in our ear by our producer, Russ, that Brookwood actually pulled that game out, beating one of the best teams in the state. I actually wanted to see Eddie Prinz face off against Alpharetta next week so we could see 2 of the best quarterbacks in the state, because your boy over at Alpharetta is really tearing it up this season at the quarterback position. But I'll tie it into this game, Gil. A couple years ago, 2010, McEachern's ranked number 1 in the state. They go in the playoffs as a number 1 seed. They play a number 4 seed in Brookwood. Brookwood beats them. So that's ties into what we were talking about tonight. Anything can happen in the second season. All bets are off. None of us would have expected Valdosta and Lowndes to both fall tonight, and that's what makes high school football in this great state so special.
You see Brett Jones, we talked about him up top, and of course his daddy is the principal, and he's a long snapper. He goes off on his own power, helped off by the medical staff of the Packers. And boy, you got a feel for Jeff Irwin and company, Eddie Prinz. I mean, come on. I mean, a great year, and then it ends in the first week.
Gil,
my goodness.
You know, I got a lot of love for that Lassiter program. I've called a lot of Lassiter games in my day, and I've actually seen firsthand that program go from mediocre to special. When Chip Lindsey took that program over, and then he turned it over to Irwin, they have had Hudson Mason, followed by Eddie Prinz, 2 of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen in the state of Georgia. I really wanted to see Lassiter make some hay in the playoffs this year. We wanted to see how far they could go. They have a special team over there, and it's unfortunate that they were upset tonight by Brookwood. They got a great team.
McEachern will start at their own 2. They trail 30-28. A minute and 1 second to go. Rolling out is Griffin, and he finds his receiver. That is complete to Malik Williams up at about the 16-yard line.
That's a big-time throw right there, Gil. He's done it with his legs tonight, but watch him rolling out. He's a right-handed quarterback rolling out to his left, and he throws a strike to Malik Williams. And Malik Williams is slow getting up. He took a shot over there, even though he picked up the first down. And they still have that 1 timeout left, Gil. McEachern does. so they can go to the middle of the field if they need to, but the clock's not working in their favor. 54 yards. You see the timeouts remaining. Colquitt with all 3 right now. They don't have a use for them, but right now more concerning is the down player on the field, which I believe is Malik Williams.
Jamal
Watch the
Phillips
shot.
was over there too.
Yeah, watch the shot he takes here, right in the midsection. We hope that it's just a case of him getting the wind knocked out for him. It's Tim Sanders
on that shot,
the junior corner that, you know, very legal hit, nothing wrong with the hit at all. Just kind of hit him right in the midsection. He's having a hard time getting up. You see them sticking their hand underneath his belt, Gil, and pulling up on it. I think that's just him having the wind knocked out of him. They're trying to get some oxygen back in his lungs. I think he's going to be just fine.
And he's running off on his own power. A good sign to see. We set the scene under a minute. Colquitt County with a 2-point lead at 30-28. Region 1, it's been a tough night, but so far the Packers are carrying a banner.
So every time we got Colquitt, Gil, we have them last year against Grayson. Comes down to the last second. They lose to Grayson.
Yeah.
Kell Classic comes down to the last second. North Gwinnett pulls it out. And we got a nail-biter here tonight, too.
1st and 10 for McEachern at their own 17. Ty Griffin under pressure, rolling out, and finds Taj Griffin. 20 up to the 23. Pushed back by a slew of Packer defenders. It'll be close to a first down, and it is. Brandon Key among those on the stop. 33 seconds to go.
You're going to stop him a couple yards shy of the first down. Right now, the first down chains don't really matter to McEachern, except for the fact that when they do pick up a first down, they'll stop the clock temporarily. I like them, though, trying to get the ball to Taj Griffin in space. But again, almost 20 seconds went off the clock for that play alone. And McEachern has to burn their last time out because they ran that ball right in the middle of the field.
Next Friday, we continue our live coverage of high school football and the playoffs and the road to the Dome. We'll have a special early kickoff at 7:30 for the Thanksgiving holiday, so tune in for exciting the pregame show followed by week 2 of the playoffs. We are live at 7:30 only on GPB. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and you can also check the game that we will be covering next week at www.gpb.org. Kyle Hockman, the Indian sideline. Does their season continue?
Gil, they've got 33 seconds to move the ball roughly 50 yards. No longer do they have the talented kicker St. Germain, who had a 60-yard leg. Dominguez is talented kicker, Gil, but they're going to have to get down to the 25-yard line if they want a chance for a makeable field goal. That'd be a 42-yarder. So they got 50 yards to go and 33 seconds to do it.
Clemens, and that ball was almost picked off by Johnny Ward, who jumped the route.
Yeah, what happened, Gil, was Malik Williams slips down. All he's doing is running an out route. When he sticks his foot in the ground to try to cut, he falls down. You see him right there to the right of your screen, and Johnny Ward just about sealed the deal for Colquitt right there.
29 seconds to go. Ty Griffin and Ty Clemens.
Ty Griffin, Gil, is lined up in the slot at the
rotational
top.
quarterback for the McEachern Indians. As Trey said, Griffin lined up in the slot. That's Clemens, and he has a receiver, and it is complete. That's Chris O'Kay, and that's a first down. 22 seconds to go.
You see
a gain of 17.
The defender's laying on top of O'Kay, trying to inhibit his ability to get up. Clock will stop temporarily for the first down.
Clemens with 1st and 10 at the 42.
Still need 35 yards, and they'll clock it.
And he'll clock it with 21 ticks to go. Here's Kyle Hockman. This has been an outstanding football game, Trey.
It's everything we
from the
expect.
get-go.
You know, a lot of people before the game, both on the Colquitt sideline and here on the McEachern sideline, asked me to make a prediction on what I thought would happen in the game.
Because you're always right.
I honestly couldn't make one. It's very evenly matched teams, and the scoreboard reflects that.
They line him up. That's Ty Griffin out of the shotgun. In the backfield is Sherman. 3 wide to the near side. And the pass is complete to Ty Clemens, close to the 46-yard line of Colquitt County, and knocked out of bounds by Ward. Another first down. 14 ticks to go.
The most important part of that play, Gil, well, two, is they got into Colquitt territory, but most importantly, Ty Clemens gets out of bounds. And there you see one quarterback throwing it to another one.
And there you see Dominguez on the sideline getting ready. 14 seconds to go.
Need about 21 or 22 more yards, Gil, and it looks like Coach Probst's going to call his first of 3 timeouts just to regroup a little bit. He doesn't like what he's seeing. All of a sudden, McEachern starting to pick up yards in chunks.
Follow us on Twitter at GPB Sports and stay connected with the GPB Sports team. Keep up with our sports team and what they have to say with up-to-minute tweets. Check us out and follow us. We would love to have you. And of course, John Nelson is a tweet king. You're a tweet king. Grace Olson is a tweet king. We got to get Marky Mark Harmon be a tweet king. I know Alicia Katz is. So he's right. We said David Dominguez was warming up, and there he is.
Could be Dennis Dominguez.
Dennis Dominguez warming up. Field goals tonight, 35 and 29.
And I guesstimate, Gil, that they would be comfortable with him kicking one from around 42 to 45 yards.
He was hitting 42 in practice. And you said earlier he needs to get possibly, what, to about the
25-yard line for a 42-yard field goal. So they've got 21 and a half more yards to be exact to put him into that range. I think they'd let him attempt a 45-yarder, but I don't think they have confidence in him beyond that. So they're going to need 17, 18, 20 yards here if they're going to have a shot.
At the 47. And they had Williams at the 30-yard line, and he dropped it. Ward was defending on the play. Had him in the slot, Trey.
You see this pass just a touch behind him, but I know he thinks that he should have made that catch. You could tell by his reaction after he dropped it.
2nd and 10.
But the incomplete pass will stop the clock. Interesting, though, Gil, that with no timeouts, they went to the middle of the field where they had to rush up to the line of scrimmage and spike it quickly in order to get the clock stopped.
Well, remember, that happened in our game when we covered Colquitt County against North Gwinnett.
That's true.
They had to line up and got it done, and got it done, the spot, and the kick was...
No timeout. Yeah, that was a crazy one. North Gwinnett advances to play Grayson next week at Grayson.
Well, I'll tell you what.
That's a game right there, brother.
Bob Spire may be the best coach in the state of Georgia. I mean, that guy, you look at the talent he had coming back and what he's been able to do. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, tonight he gets to that 10-win plateau. And he has consistently done that in his career at North Gwinnett. He's had consecutive seasons of 10 wins or more.
You're right. Their only loss this year has been to Norcross, and that's why they took the 2nd seed in their region 7.
We had that game on GPB.
We certainly did. And I agree with you, Gil. He has fought an uphill battle this year because of all the losses in his coaching staff. His wide receiver coach goes over and takes the job at Shiloh. Several coaches go with him.
New school that was built in the Lanier, right? Took a lot of the kids away from him. See the timeout. Rush Probst has 1 in his hip pocket. Kyle Hockman has 0.
We also got another matchup next week, Norcross and South Gwinnett, both teams we've seen this year. Second round's going to be no holds barred in 6A.
You know, speaking of Twitter, I was talking to a famous alum of South Gwinnett on Twitter last night, Lewis Williams. The Atlanta Hawks are out in Sacramento tonight, and he said, tell my comments to get it done. Well, Lewis, they got it done here tonight. 2nd and 10 at the 47 for McEachern. They trail 30-28. Ty Griffin in the pocket, and that is picked off. It is picked off by Bull Barge, who dropped back in coverage, and Colquitt County has gotten a big turnover.
That's game.
Ball game over. My goodness.
Gil, it was predictable that they were going to go toward the sideline with no timeouts. You've got to get out of bounds. With only 10 seconds on the clock, if you don't pick up a first down there, Gil, you don't have enough time to line up and run another play. Bull Barge jumps the route because he knows it has to go outside, makes the biggest play of the game. He's a backup middle linebacker. He's got a lot of playing time tonight. Colquitt Their MO is coming to Atlanta and winning football games, and they start off the playoffs exactly how they have the last 3 years.
9-2 now on the road. The Road Warriors, they win it 30-28, and they'll go to Moultrie a happy bunch tonight. And they live to say that Region 1 is alive and well in the second season. How about that? Let's go downstairs to John Nelson standing by with Rush Propst. Again, the final 30-28, Colquitt County. Gentlemen, it's all yours.
Thank you, GT, here with the coach. You earned this one, didn't you?
Lord of mercy. I'm getting too old for these things, I can tell you. You know, it's just, but you know, when you got two good teams playing, I mean, these things are liable to happen. And like I told you before the game started, it was more like a quarterfinal round than it was a first round. You got two really good football teams playing in the first round. I mean, y'all made the decision to cover it, and you did the right thing. And but man, that's just what a finish. You know, you got to give them a lot of credit. Got to give our kids credit for doing what they had to do to win the game.
You talk about Cole's night. You let the offense run, and he was having a good night throwing the football.
He was. Cole had a great night again, and he's just really carried our football team on the offensive side, you know, and, you know, just very proud of him. He's handled a lot of adversity and losing his job in the middle of the year and coming back, and what he's done the last 3 weeks is just an outstanding. Just shows the character of what he's all about, and just very proud of him. But I'm proud of my football team. I tell you now, we had to fight through a lot of stuff. Emotional win last week. Didn't get on a bus and ride 4.5, 5 hours. Come in there and play a great McEachern squad that was region champions, you know, and it's tough, tall order, but, you know, we're resilient, and our kids hung in there and fought to the end.
All right, thanks for your time. Congrats.
Thanks for what y'all do. Y'all do a great job.
Thanks. That's Rush Propst. Let's send over to Mark Harmon, best seat in the house.
John, thanks so much. Well, the first round of the playoffs is nearing an end. This game ended in exciting fashion, 30-28. Colquitt County will advance over McEachern in the first round. So the game's over, but the post-game show is just kicking off. Let's check out the highlights from today's game because it was a beauty. McEachern putting that 8-game winning streak on the line, but it's Colquitt County scoring first. Cole Seagraves, number 13 with the score, made it 7-3. Then it's Ty Clemens to Trey Scott, and McEachern takes the lead 10-7 at the end of the first quarter. John Boatwright, he goes 1 yard right there. Number 83, Todd Boyd. This makes it 24-13 in the third quarter. McEachern battles back. Ty Clemens, he keeps it. Number 10 scores to cut that lead to 24-21. Later in the fourth quarter, it is Colquitt County scoring to go up 30-21. McEachern would then score to make it 30-28, and that is your final score right now as Colquitt County advances to win this game by 2, 30-28. Let's now toss it over to John Nelson, who's got a lot of players around him and the star of the game. John.
Thank you very much, Mark, here with quarterback Cole Seagraves. And I was talking to Coach. First question I asked him, I said, man, you earned this one, didn't you?
Yes, sir. You know, we worked hard all week, and we came together as a team at the end and finished hard.
Now, the way that this team goes, the MO for you guys, the way that you guys operate, you don't mind being road warriors and getting on the road and doing all this travel, do you?
No, sir. We're used to it in the past years, 3 years. We had to go on the road and, you know, just went on the road, and we became used to playing in white jerseys, and, you know, tonight was no difference. We had to.
And at the same time, Coach always mentions that he doesn't talk about region championships necessarily. It's about this 30-day window of playing from mid-November to mid-December so you guys can get state championships, not region titles.
Yes, sir. The coaches made it clear that it's 0-0 from these 5 weeks on. You know, we got these 5 weeks to win the state championship, and that's what we've been trying to do all year, working hard to win the state championship.
Okay, so you're 1-0. How much time do you guys give yourselves to think about being 1-0 before you get ready for your next opponent?
We'll celebrate on the ride back home and get back to it on Saturday. So.
All right, thanks for your time, Cole. Nice night.
Thank you.
We'll send it back over to Mark. Colquitt County's got a long ride home, but it's for a good reason, Mark.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of happy campers on that bus ride, especially Cole Seagraves. 21 of 25 passing for 357 yards. That is an outstanding performance. Tonight's game, Colquitt County and McEachern, was a hard-fought game all the way. It goes right down the last couple of seconds. Let's take a look at the GPB Football Fridays play of the game. And it came in the fourth quarter. Cole Seagraves, number 13, going back to pass. And there's a touchdown there. Evidently, that's I guess we'll call that the play of the game as John Boatwright bursts over to make it 24-21. And that's our GPB play of the game. Let's now take a look at some of the scores from around the state because there were a lot of upsets, a lot of big games coming up. And right off the top, Brookwood and Laster, the last score that I had was 21-21, but word is that Brookwood has won that game 24-21. Laster ranked number 1 in 6A going in. Brookwood takes them out in round 1. 24-21. Meanwhile, the defending 5A state champions, Grayson Rams, they knock off Wheeler 49-9. Grayson, after losing to Parkview, has reeled off about 9 straight wins very, very impressively. I'm joined here now by John Nelson, Camden County.
Yep.
Number 1 last week. They win big over Hillgrove 52-17.
And that game was tied at 10-10 at one point, so Camden County really put the hammer down. Hillgrove went in a couple of years ago, knocked them out in the first round of the playoffs. Didn't happen tonight.
All right, we got Johns Creek and we got North Gwinnett. North Gwinnett winning big, 49-19, and North Gwinnett has got it going.
And at the same time, remember, the way that the upper left bracket is set up, North Gwinnett now gets Grayson, and they have to travel to Loganville next week. So that's going to be a great ball game, number 1 on the board.
All right, in round 2, Marietta and Lowndes, 30-20. That's a wild game in the fourth quarter right now.
And that game has gone final now, 30-27, Marietta. So we talked about all the stuff with Region 1. Lowndes loses, Valdosta loses, Colquitt wins, Camden wins. Not the order a lot of people would have thought.
Okay, the other game down there, North Cobb with a big win, beating that Valdosta team impressively, 42-14.
Yeah, and that was North Cobb has had a great year. Really put the hammer down as a 2 seed in that region. So playing Valdosta tonight, no one would have thought it was going to be 42-14.
Okay, the number 1 ranked team in 5A, Northside Warner Robins, no trouble today with Effingham County.
Yeah, they are the toughest team in 5A, and they probably could really play a lot of 6A teams really well too. Toughest front 7 in the state and a lot of different levels. Rough night for Rick Tomberlin and Effingham County.
In 4A, Sandy Creek Patriots, we saw them a couple of weeks ago. They're on a big time roll. They win big 55-0.
Not a surprise that the Fighting Patriots put the pedal down and really made a statement in the first round of the Quad A playoffs there. It'll be interesting to see how their bracket works out, but not a first-round test for Sandy Creek.
Okay, and Double A, Calhoun wins again. This is win 26 in a row.
And, Calhoun really motoring. Wesleyan having to step up in class, goes to Double A now, having been in Single A for all this time. So Wesleyan, great season for them in Double A. Calhoun really puts the pedal down there to win by 32.
And that's our Georgia EMC scoreboard. We thank the good folks there. And you've got some social media information to pass along,
Yes,
John.
I certainly do. We'll start off with Twitter. You can follow us at GPB Sports. Grace Olson does some really cool stuff with our new media and make sure that you know everything that's going on during the game itself. You can have a conversation with her there at GPB Sports with the hashtags with the teams that are playing in the games. And our Facebook page, where a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that Grace does here at the games that you don't see on the broadcast end up there. You find out recipes from tonight, where we had a lot of fun with the lunchbox makeover. Everything going on at GPB Sports in front and behind the scenes. That's where you'll see the announcement along at gpb.org. And by the way, did you know there was an app for that?
App for that. That's the way you go. All right, that's it for our Football Fridays in Georgia. What a first-round playoff championship game. 30-28, Colquitt County a winner. Now next week we're going to televise the second round game of the 2012 GHSA playoffs as we move along on the road to the Dome to the championships. Things will get started at 7:30. We'll have a short pregame show for you. Kickoff is going to be around 7:40 on that one. All the action of the second season is available on GPB. So as we check out the brackets, you can go to www.gpb.org/sports. As soon as we know, we'll get those brackets for you and all the winners and all the guys that will advance to the next round. So for all of us here at GPB, thanks for joining us on our Football Fridays in Georgia. First round of the playoffs. We'll have you covered all the way to the state championship game in mid-December at the Georgia Dome. So until next time.
This is a GPB original production.